What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Tony Smiles here, and we are live. We are live. Game 7 of the World Series. And guess what? The Dodgers won. Hey, Professor G, thank you for coming back. Thank you for going through this with me all through Game 7, which went extra innings. How you doing tonight, Professor G?
Doing great. The Dodgers do it again, back to back, and the National League catches another World Series. But it was a great game, and hats off to the Toronto Blue Jays for being a great opponent. And but somebody had to win, and it was the National League again, and the Dodgers did it. Thank you, Tony, for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a gracious guest and providing valuable insight all game 7. This is the last game of the season, and it ended in a foreign country. It started in a foreign country, ended in a foreign country, but the Americans won. Hey, let's start with game 6, man, real quick, and give a brief, the highlights of what happened in game 6. What did Toronto do wrong in order for the Dodgers to push to a game 7?
Well, game six again. The lack of scoring in the Toronto team's offense was lackadaisical throughout the whole game yesterday, and they only put up one run, and then they just had a couple of opportunities in first and second, but very few runners go past second base, and the Toronto just could not capitalize. They could not get the runners in, and the Dodgers just did enough 3-1 victory. But the Toronto Blue Jays just did not capture the opportunities. They just didn't do what they're supposed to do.
Listen, to me, I said it yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again today. I think that the Dodgers phoned in Game 4 after that 18 inning marathon that we lived through, and we covered, both of us. We covered it all the way to what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was crazy.
Oh,
Like the
oh yeah.
next day, but um, the Dodgers phoned it in on Game 4, and I believe Toronto phoned in Game 5 of the World Series. Excuse me, Game 6 of the World Series. They were ahead 3-2, and they figured, okay, we'll take it to to Game 7. We'll make more money on licensing, on tickets. They probably had the tickets already sold. I guarantee you, them tickets were not sold overnight. Them tickets were already sold weeks and months in advance, and they don't want to give that money back because I'm pretty sure that if Game 7 never happens, those people want a refund.
Mm,
And I don't think MLB wants to do that ever. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know what their process is to return money if Game 7 never happens. But I'm pretty sure that it was all. I mean, that stadium was full. Is it
Yeah.
Roger Stadium? Roger Stadium was full.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I don't know if it's true or not because I don't have no receipts for that. But in my humble opinion, the Dodgers phoned in Game 4 of the World Series, and then Toronto phoned in Game 6, thinking that they could run over the Dodgers because they were on top. Now look at the difference when they try to win. When both teams try to win, look at the difference. Look at the difference when both teams try to win. Because game it's game 3, they try to win, and it took the Dodgers extra innings to beat Toronto. What happened tonight? They had extra innings to beat Toronto. If they didn't have those extra innings, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And I think Toronto kind of started slowing down and folded towards the end of the game. The momentum changed, the crowd, the energy, everything started changing. I mean, they were on top for most of the game. So to get to get back, I mean, and end up being what is it, 5-6? Was the
It,
score?
it, the score was 5-4.
5-4.
Very close. It was a very close game. The Toronto Blue Jays had a 4-2, four runs to two lead, and they lost it.
And yeah, they had a lead. They had a 4-2 lead, and they lost it. So let's get right into the rundown. You got anything to add to that before we begin?
The rundown for Game 6. So the first two innings, both teams 1, 2, 3. Gausman, the Toronto pitcher that time, Gausman was doing okay. Um, so on the top of the third, the Dodgers get their first run. Will Smith doubles into left field. Um, Tommy Edmonds scores, and Shohei Ohtani moves to third. Right after that play, um, Mookie Betts singles on a ground ball to the left fielder Nathan Lukes, and Shohei Ohtani scores.
Yeah, that's
Will Smith
this is
score.
game 6 we're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is Game 6. This is Game
Yeah.
6 because it was the most scoring that happened was basically in the third inning. Will Smith scores, and Freddie Freeman goes to second. At that point in the third inning, the Dodgers are up 3-0, and that pretty much that's what mostly what the Dodgers needed because we figured that in the bottom of the sixth, Toronto comes up. Dalton Varsho strikes out swinging, and they get one. Let's see, which Bichette pops out, but they get one run in the third inning. Toronto does, and in the sixth inning, nothing happens. The bottom of the eighth, Bichette pops out to short. The score is still 3-1, and in the bottom of the ninth, the Blue Jays challenged a ground rule there. There was a call in the field that was upheld by the umpires, and that pretty much ended the game because um, Addison Barger is out at second for that challenge, and that becomes 3 outs, and that ended the game for Game 6. So the Dodgers really pitched a very good game that game, and Toronto just could not capitalize. You know, the interesting thing about this, Tony, I think, and I got to look back at the statistics from all these games, but I'm looking at this. Toronto out hit the Dodgers almost every game. Game 6, they out hit the Dodgers 8-4. And same thing for the Game 7, and I believe the previous games as well. The Toronto Blue Jays got men on base, they just could not capitalize. They had opportunities, they never could capitalize.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that brings us straight to game 7. And there were no major changes to the lineup. Let's look at what they had for the lineup. The Blue Jays lineup looked like this. If you notice, George Springer is DHing again, so I guess he got over his injury. Um, did you hear anything about his injury or anything like that?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear anything. The Schneider, the Toronto manager, thought that he was going to give it a go, and then Springer pretty much said that he's going to play the last game of the World Series. And be honest, if you're hurting, this is not the time to be out of the game. And if Springer is your best shot at leadoff, then I guess he has to play. You know, I say a 50-60% Springer is better than anybody else that can get out there.
Exactly, exactly. But let's talk about the starting pitching. Um, we had a veteran and a future Hall of Famer out there. Um, let me see if I can. Well, let's put up the thumbnail.
There you go.
Talk to me about these two good gentlemen, man. They started out game 7 of the World Series. What do you think about
Yeah,
Mad Max with his two different eye colors.
Yeah,
And
I
Otani,
mean,
talk to me.
Max Scherzer um, is the best guy that can give you a chance at least to start the game, and then you can just continue doing your bullpen shift like Schneider continues to do his bullpen shift throughout the game and do his matchups, righty and lefty matchups. But Mad Max is going to give you 100% regardless of what his speed is or whatever it is. Mad Max is a veteran and he knows how to pitch, and
He
he's
got
going to
several
give it all he got.
championships.
Yeah, he's going to give it all
He's
he's
a,
got,
he already got his
and it,
World Series
yeah,
rings.
that's right. That's right. You got experience on the mound there, and then Shohei Otani is probably well rested more than most of the pitchers, and he goes out there and try to give it his best shot as well. And Shohei Otani is he's a tremendous pitcher as well, and let's see if it materializes in the game. And as we will discover, both pitchers did the best they could up to about the fourth or fifth inning. Um, that's all I have for those two guys.
Yeah, talk to me about the Dodgers lineup.
The same. This is probably the better lineup that I've seen in the last because the first 4 or 5 games, you had Mookie Betts up there. He wasn't producing up there, so you had to change this up. And Dave Roberts went with this lineup, especially with Will Smith batting second, and the veteran second baseman Miguel Rojas batting ninth, which brings it, which makes it a good leadoff man for Shohei Otani because as you see later on, like yesterday's game, Miguel Rojas was leading off, and then Shohei Otani was able to that gives Otani a little bit of a some kind of run production, especially if Tommy Pham and Kike get on base with Rojas, that gives Otani a little chance to drive in some runs. But yeah, this lineup looks like it produced better. It gave Toronto a little bit of a more of a pressure baseball. And yeah, Dave Roberts did the right move. But to your point, Tony, I think this lineup should have been done a little earlier.
Yes, I think they should have came in game four with this lineup and win game
Yeah,
four. If they lose game five, okay, then go to game six. But they come into Toronto 3 games to 2, as opposed to uh, the opposite, where it was 3 games to 2 in favor of Toronto. That
ten
that
to
was that was a
yeah,
bad call, and he knew it. I showed the receipts in the podcast previously for Game Five, where the manager said himself he was holding back. I don't understand why he was holding back.
yeah. It should have really be 3-2 Dodgers going into Toronto. That's what it should have been.
And then today, I think he started to hold back at the beginning, and I'm like, dude, why? It's all hands on deck. Why are you holding back? I wanted Yamamoto to come out sooner than later, and Yamamoto came out later, and luckily it wasn't no, it was a mute point, but it could have been disastrous if
Yeah,
they put Snell in there. He was about
yeah,
to start messing everything up. I mean, when he got off the mound, there was 2 people on the mound. It was just a
yeah.
bad situation. We'll talk about it. We'll get in deeper into that
All right,
a little bit later. But
sure.
right now, my point was, look, why are you holding back? All hands on deck. And Toronto was doing everything at the beginning. Everything.
Right,
I think the ninth inning was when things started going south, which was ridiculous because you don't expect the World Series to be decided on movements that the
yeah,
managers make in
right,
the eighth and ninth inning to recover and then go into overtime
right,
and then win.
yeah, right.
Remarkable, remarkable. And then there was a
And
fight in the field. We're gonna talk about that.
that's right.
Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's go ahead and go into the rundown for Game 7 and see where everything goes. Again, this is the lineup that the Dodgers had, and so um, Mad Max started pitching first. Max Scherzer and Otani came out. Right off the top, he hits a base hit to center. gets on base. Then there's a sacrifice bunt by Smith, which moved where he was out, but that means Otani was already on second base.
Yeah.
And these are the small moves that you got to make in order to win games. I
Right.
love it when small ball gets incorporated with slugging, big big big
Right.
batting big batting games. When you do
Right.
these things, you win the game. But the
Right.
Dodgers tried it at the beginning. The thing that what happened was they didn't convert. The hitting didn't convert.
Right.
So but they did the sacrifice bunt on the second second at bat with Smith, which moved Otani to second base. Edman
Right.
comes out with another sacrifice fly, another moving a guy bases, but now it's 2 outs and Otani at third, which they could have scored right then and there. The
Right.
Dodgers could have took the lead right then and there, and this is where I said the batting had to happen because guess who comes out? Guess who comes out? And we're expecting this guy to be a Hall of Famer soon. Mookie Betts comes out. And I knew right then and there that Otani being at third, it was a no-go. It was
Right.
a no-go. We needed like Rojas on base already in order to get, the situation that we got, because it would have been a sacrifice fly with Otani at third, and he would have came home. That would have been 1-0. But that's not what happened because it's a starting lineup and Mookie Betts comes out and he grounds to short. That's 3 outs. Otani got stuck at third. What do you think
Yeah.
about that top of the first? What do you think about the top of the first?
It was an opportunity wasted there. And again, Betts grounds it out, and it stopped the you know um, but it's another opportunity lost. It's just a great example of what Buki Betts has been doing pretty much all series. Um,
Underperforming.
yeah, well, with runners in scoring position, you would expect a little bit better from Betts, who's been a terrific hitter all his career, and then we expected a lot more from Mookie in the World Series, and he just did not have a good World Series. He just did not have a good series.
Yeah, he did not have a good one, and at no point did he elevate his game
Yeah,
to the status that we're accustomed to him
yeah,
doing. But again, he'll future Hall of Famer, and he just got another ring, so we can't knock him at this point. But the Scherzer came back out for the top of the second, and then Munski strikes out. Hernandez fly out to right field. Edmund flies out to deep right, and that's the end of the top of the second. We into the bottom of the second. Otani's back out there now. At the bottom of the second, Otani's like has to go into the dugout and change or whatever. Um, the manager from Toronto did not like that. He
yeah,
made a complaint right off the top, and then he held on after that. They didn't say anything. The umpires were talking it over, and Otani gets a lot of leeway because he's one of the guys that only maybe he's the only one in this generation that bats and pitches at the same time.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's to the umpire's discretion because especially if Otani was batting, you got to give this chance for him to go ahead and take a couple of pitches and take some time to get onto the mound. And to the credit of the Toronto manager, when they interviewed him later on in the game, he's like, no, it's the Otani rule, and so forgive me, I'm just trying to do gamemanship for Toronto, right?
well, I mean, he was throwing monkey wrenches on
Hmm.
Otani, which is good because you don't want
Yeah,
to keep him on his toes, and it's kind of delaying the game a bit
yeah,
too. So it gives everybody time in Toronto to stay regrouped, but it's you're putting pressure on Otani when the umpire is standing over him, telling him you got X amount of pitch counts to warm up,
yeah, yeah,
and he was standing right over him like, hey, hurry up, okay, you're done. You know,
Yeah, he was
yeah,
pointing at his clock,
yeah,
the watch, to the umpire. Hey, it's enough time right there. Enough time.
yeah. So that puts pressure on Otani and tries to take him off his mental game. So
Right,
the
right,
Toronto again, this is little things that you can do in baseball that you don't that affect the game,
right,
and that's what the manager. I mean, they're playing chess, but that's what the manager
right,
at early on, the manager from Toronto, that's what he was doing.
right, right,
And you said it himself, gamemanship. But that's code for I was messing with him to get him off his stride. But
right,
Bichette comes out, and that's exactly what happened. Bichette gets walked.
right, right.
Bichette gets
Okay.
walked.
Yeah,
Um, Barger comes out and he singles. So now there's a what do you call it? Pop up by Kirk. Kirk pops out, one out, and then Verscho flies out to right, and then Clemens with a base hit. Now bases are loaded, and
right.
again, the manager of Toronto, he did his thing, getting Otani off his game because immediately it had an effect. And that was only the first time he did it.
Right.
Then Guzman comes out and he strikes out for strike three to end the
Yeah.
inning, and Otani saves himself from an embarrassment of loaded bases that could have been disastrous in only the bottom of the second.
Yeah. Again, Toronto had the opportunity to score with the bases loaded, and then Jimenez strikes out to end the bottom of the second. But that was an opportunity to Blue Jays capitalize on the game. Imagine if Jimenez would have had a base hit, that would have been 2-zip right there. So but it
Or
didn't
if
happen.
Jimenez hit a home run with bases loaded, grand slam, the game would be over right there.
Yeah,
That,
that's
that
four
was
runs right there.
that's it. That the game would have been over. But
Yeah,
that's not what happened. Otani
yeah,
Otani got Jimenez up out of there for the third out
yeah,
and saved himself from an eternal embarrassment because those
yeah,
things live on forever. When you make a big mistake
yeah,
like a grand slam in game seven, it replays
yeah.
for months and years.
Right.
So
Oh
like the
yeah.
top, we're here at the top of the third, and Max Scherzer is still on the mound, and he gets Kike Hernandez to fly out. Excuse me, Rojas
Rojas.
strikes
Yeah.
out. And then Otani's back out there, and he lines out to left field. There's then there's the bottom of the third. Otani's back on the mound, and I noted it again that the manager complained to the umpires of Otani taking too long from because he just bat. He just bat. He was and he bat to left
Mm-hmm.
and he was in the infield. I think he was on near first base or something like that. So now he has to
Mm-hmm.
get back to the dugout in order to get his stuff so he can become a pitcher and take
Yeah.
take take the batting stuff off because they
Mm-hmm.
got the helmet, the shin guards. He don't want to wear that while he's pitching because he's gonna be uncomfortable.
That's right.
So the man, I mean, this is game seven. He could have been complaining about this. I think when Otani pitched before was game five or whatever.
Yeah. Game
You didn't
four.
see
Yeah.
that from him. You didn't
Yeah.
see, you didn't see the manager going out there doing that. But he does it
Right.
again. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get to him this time. And then again, the umpire is standing on top of him. And then he I think you get 8 pitches to warm up.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
He reduced it. He reduced it by like 2 or 3 pitches. That's it. You good. That's that's exactly what the umpire told Otani.
Yeah.
You good. You good. That's it. And he pointed at his watch, like you said. So so the manager does it again, and guess what happens? Springer comes out and hits a single on Otani. Otani's already shook, and it ain't because of him. It's because the manager and the umpire, the, And then I don't know if Otani speaks English or not, but having a guy talking to you English, a foreign language, and you don't understand it or whatever, but he he's doing sign language like hurry up. That put pressure on you even if you
Mm.
speak.
He
Yeah.
was doing this. Okay, let's go, let's go.
So
You know,
Springer hits that single. Luke's hits a sacrifice bunt. He outs, but by that time Springer's in second base, and
yeah,
then a wild pitch moves him to third base. They're in scoring
mm,
position again,
yep.
and then what do you call it?
It's an
Guerrero comes
intentional.
out. He got intentionally
Yeah.
walked. He got intentionally walked,
Mm-hmm.
so he didn't even touch the bat.
Yeah. Yep.
And then what happens? Bichette go ahead and hits a 3-run home run. Now,
Oh yeah.
all that stuff the manager did forced Otani off the mound and got a 3-run home out of it because of the little things.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pitching change. Roski comes out, and Otani is Otani is out of the game. And
Yeah.
let's see here the home run. I think this was the one. No, that's not it. That's the other one.
Bichette home run. Yeah.
Bichette home run. There it is. Otani 3-run home run. And that was by Bichette. And then you can see Bichette here celebrating with
Guerrero.
with
Yeah.
Guerrero after they done damage, and it's what do you call it? 3 to nothing at that point.
Oh yeah.
3 to nothing
Yep.
at that point. So pitching change. The manager did all of that, and he got Otani up out of there.
Oh yeah.
A new pitcher, Rovsky comes out. Otani,
Yeah. Yes, Robleski, who
Robleski,
that is,
yeah.
yeah, he's the number one guy that Roberts has been going through in this series. Whenever the starting pitchers get in trouble, he's one of the first one he gets called up.
So he's now pitching to Bad Barger. Barger's a dangerous guy, dude. I don't know how. Again, I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't know how he is in the regular season, but this guy, he causes problems. He causes
Yeah,
problems, and it's not like a lot of problems, but small problems that become a lot of problems. Base
yeah,
hit to
yeah.
to center field, right off the top, and then finally, they tone it down with Kirk flies out to center, and Verscho strikes out after the damage is done, 3 to nothing. What did you think about that? The bottom of the third.
I mean, it was Otani was a little shook up a little bit, and it showed, especially Springer with the single sacrifice bunt, wild pitch, and then they had to no choice but intentionally walk Guerrero because he's the one that's going to hurt you, right? But when you walk Guerrero, you also got to watch out because Bichette's been hitting pretty good lately. And what happens? 3-run home jump, 3 home run, a home run, 3 home run jack there, and that changed the schematic of the game there for the beginning. And then they had to conform to a pitching change again, and then, but the thing is that Barker singles, right? This guy, he's been doing nothing but hitting. I think he finished something like hitting 435 for the World Series. I'm like, this guy was amazing, man. And I mean, overall, some of these guys were hitting real well. But then then it goes quiet again. Fly
Yeah,
out and a strikeout, and
immediately, they get control, but at this point, now the Dodgers are chasing.
right,
You don't want to be in that situation in any game. You don't want to be the
right,
one chasing. You don't want to be
right,
chasing because now you got 3-run home run. You don't got no
right.
points on the thing, and one of your best pitchers are gone because of
Yeah.
bullshit. Bullshit.
I mean, you know, it's just one of those things. The Toronto finally capitalized on the running scoring situation, and Shohei Otani. If you saw the pitch, he left it very high, and Bichette just knocked it out the park, man. I mean, if you leave it down the middle, man, don't expect a professional hitter not to hit that. You're gonna leave it down the middle, you're gonna get it knocked off. It's just Simple as that. It's just Shohei Ohtani. But throughout the whole game, Shohei Ohtani was just not locating his fastball. He had a problem with the fastball locating it, and he paid the price in the third inning. So it's 3-0 Toronto at this point.
Yeah, then we go to the top of the fourth. Max Scherzer's still out there. He's still out there. And again, he's like 40 some years old. He got like 3 World Series rings with like 3 different teams. I mean,
Right.
his I don't know if he might be a Hall of Famer or not, but he's up there. I mean, he should be.
He should be.
The only reason he wouldn't become a Hall of Famer, because I'm thinking about it right now, is because his attitude. I don't know how he rubs people the wrong way or not behind the scenes, and because it takes reporters and stuff to vote. Who
Right.
knows what who he pissed off or whatever? Because he does have an attitude issue and a command issue. You can see it when his manager comes out and he's like, "Nah, I'm no." I'm not.
Well, I
I'm not.
mean,
I'm not leaving.
I, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, that's the kind of pitcher you do want. You want a bulldog out there, a guy that says, hey, don't take the ball away from me. I think I can do this. But also, you also have to understand that the manager has a lot of tough decisions, and sometimes the managers have to take you out in spite of yourself. The managers know what's best because they are trying to find out, to go with the analytics. you know, they know that you have a pitch count, or they know you're tired, or they also, here's another thing, they know that the guy coming up to bat has owned you, right? This guy hits really good against you. Do you want to face this guy in the seventh inning? The managers are like, nah, I think I'm gonna go with somebody else. That's a tough decision because you have a bulldog out there. But you know what? That bulldog mentality that he has is going to take him to the Hall of Fame. How it's going to be. He's had
You
a.
you think he won't have an obstruction with reporters that he rub
Nah,
anybody the wrong way or not? He'll be a first
I mean,
ballot and that's it.
he for the most part he gives you a good interview. I think the reporters respect his views. I mean, he's very vocal, of course, but for the most part, I think a lot of people understand his gamemanship, and you have to really keep in mind what is the guy performing on the field. Sometimes, you know, uh, do I mean sports is a tough thing to do, and talking to the media and talking to the news and all that in front of people. Yeah, that could be people susceptible to that. However, you got to take in totality his whole career, right? And his career, if you look at his stats, it's one of the best in our generation. He's one of the best pitchers in our generation. I mean, he's showed it, he's proved it, winning all those Cy Youngs. The guy's a
World
Hall of
Series
Famer.
rings, yeah.
Yeah, the guy's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
But he might be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Could be,
Who
could
knows?
very well be. Yeah, could very be.
But he's on the fourth. He's on the top of the fourth, and then Smith hits a double. Man on second. Friedman comes out. He hit a base hit. Smith goes to third. Now you got man on first and third on Mad Max.
Right,
And then what do you call it? Betts comes out. He flies out to right.
right.
Munski comes out and he gets walked.
Now,
Now
now
you
the
got
bases are loaded.
now
Yeah,
bases are loaded. Bases are loaded.
yeah.
Now the Dodgers have a situation where they can not only come back, but they can uh they can take the lead.
Right,
Hernandez sacrifice fly, which allows Smith to come in, and now it's 3-1.
right.
But Edmund gets caught with a line drive. A line out. That's the third out. That ends the top of the fourth.
I would tell you this. However, that that great diving play by Varsho though in center field when the Hernandez hit. If Varsho did not catch that, this game would have looked a lot more different. It would have been 3-3 because
At least.
Varsho was it. I mean, Varsho with that speed, and he dove. I mean, he dove in midair and caught that ball. That was a great play in his part. But of course, Smith was able to score. And then that Edmund line out to the right side, to the first base side. Guerrero had a dive to in midair to catch that. Man, that was a great play by Guerrero. And let me tell you, Toronto throughout the whole World Series, their defense was on the money. Their defense did not. You cannot say that Toronto did not. They did not hurt themselves. It was a matter of this was a well played games, well played games. It was a matter of who's going to capitalize, who's going to score with runners on base, and that truly happened in this game, and it happened in the 18 inning game, and it happened in the other game that game five. So this was a great play by Toronto. It showed, like you said earlier, that Toronto came to play. Man, they were ready to play.
Both teams came to play this time. No one phoned it in. You could see the tactical movements, the substitutions. You didn't see that in Game 6 from Toronto. You didn't
Right,
see you didn't see them harassing the pitchers, making
right,
following rules that obscure rules, stuff like that. You didn't see none of that from the managers. But you
right,
saw it in
right.
this game. You saw it in this game because they both wanted to win. They both wanted to
Yeah,
win.
right. And to your point, here we go to the bottom of the fourth, and the first thing that happens, Clement gets a ground out, but then everything changes, Tony, and it starts with Jimenez, right? Again, here
Yeah,
we go. Here's where the emotions come in. Both teams really want it. I think at one point or another, when you see two teams really wanting it, the stress and everything of the game, frustrations do pour in, and that's what happened in the fourth inning. That's what happened in the bottom of the fourth.
yeah, Jimenez get hit. He get hit by a pitch, and he overreacts. He
Yeah,
overreacts where he shouldn't have. I think I have it here. There it is, right there. Now you can see the
yeah,
ball going in. You can see the ball going in. It hits him, but it hits him like towards the bat area, the bottom of the
mm,
bat, in his hand,
yeah,
and he throws a hissy fit. He
yeah.
looks at the pitcher,
Yeah,
which is
Robleski. Yeah,
Robleski, and then Robleski like, yo, what? You know, what you gonna do? And then next thing you
yeah.
know, what happens? This is the World Series. This ain't the Little Leagues. What
yeah,
happens? The goddamn man, what do you call it? Both dugouts emptied out into the field. They
yeah,
start racing. You can see them. This the score is 3-1. You got a guy on first. He's not on first anymore. I don't see him there.
yeah, yeah.
The dugout empties out. The umpires are still in their places, as you can see in the picture.
No, yeah, you don't see Jimenez going to first because the dugout starts clearing out. Jimenez couldn't even make it to first because they were like trying to argue with Robleski, and they're chatting back and forth, giving themselves the. I'm pretty sure that some obscenities were said there in the field, and
Yeah.
but you know what, the I think the umpires and some of the coaches for both teams did a good job in trying to deflect it a little bit,
I,
and
I, I'm not quite sure they deflected too much because this is the first shot. The first shot you see here, this is when it started,
mhm.
and then it started going to left field as the fight progressed. Look,
Yeah,
it goes towards the what you call it, and then there's people on the field that they're not even playing. They're like on injured list or stuff like that. You injured and stuff like that. Why are you out in? Why are you out there fighting?
yeah, it happens all the time, man. These players, they probably get tired of having the bench in there and sitting in there behind and say, "Oh, it gives me a chance to get up, man. Let me get out of here, go out there, and let me at least shove a couple of guys, right? Let me shove and push some guys."
Yeah, but
And
the one guy that they mentioned on the screen was, dude. He pushed the Empire.
yeah,
And they was like, oh, he
yeah,
gonna lose a couple of money, a couple of thousand, a couple of million or some shit like that for that.
yeah.
They said
That'll
something like
that'll
that.
be a couple $1,000 fines there for them. So yeah, they're gonna
Dude,
lose
you
some
don't
money.
put your hands on the Empire, bro. Yeah,
Nah,
them
yeah,
days, them
yeah,
days are over. Some days is
Yeah, you don't.
way over.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. You shouldn't put no money, no, your hands or anything, or touch or bump the umpire. No, you can't be doing that. You can't do that. You know.
Dude, so the fight breaks out. You're still supposed to have a guy on first. I don't know if he gets back on there, but yeah, he gets back on there. And then the umpires come out and they give a warning.
Yeah.
The warning
To
is,
both man. Yeah, the warning
yeah,
goes to
explain the
both
warning.
managers. Yeah, the warning. It when things like this happen in the field, the reason why the umpire is giving the warnings for both teams is they don't want, for example, they don't want retaliation from the other team to start throwing at the other batters on the other team. So the umpire gives the warning, say, "Hey, I don't want to see this going back and forth, throwing at hitters now. All right, we're in the World Series here. I don't want nobody to get hurt." you know, and I think that both managers understand the feelings and what's at stake. It's the game 7 of the World Series. We do not need a pitcher throwing at somebody's head for retaliation. We don't need that, And so if you're gonna retaliate next season. Don't do it here. So and plus, you're looking at game 7. How many millions of people are watching this game? No, I don't think anybody really wants somebody getting hurt hitting with a ball, man. That could be serious. It could be serious implications for that.
But
So
what did you think? What did you think about the warning? But the biggest thing that I noticed, there were people talking, and the announce team as well was talking.
mhm,
They were
yeah,
like, "Dude, the warning don't need to happen because you want the players to what do you call it? To decide the game on the field. That the
on their
warning,
own report.
at least the warning
Yeah,
at first didn't happen. Shouldn't they said it should not have happened. That they should not put a warning on any team. They should let the players decide the game on the field. What did you
right.
think about that statement from a previous player, a veteran, old timer player said that?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, you want the players to decide the outcome of the game. You don't want the umpires, to dictate what the game's going to be. Um, I think I think it was a moot point anyway because I really believe that um, both both managers are professional and they're gonna institute some kind of discipline within the bench and for both benches you have bench coaches out there and in play, and I think the discipline was in order, especially for Game 7, because I think what's most important is to win the game rather than to focus on retaliation. I think that was the main key. But I do understand the point of the ball players and the announcers saying that. But we're talking the Game 7. This is the last game. There is no retaliation game. There's no way to retaliate. If you want to retaliate in this game, this is the wrong answer. And not only that, or do you want to risk one of your best players to get thrown out the game? Right?
But the biggest consequence, I was told that the manager goes along with the pitcher,
The
whoever
players. Yeah.
whoever did it, and it
Yeah.
could be a discretionary call on the empire,
Yeah.
meaning meaning it if the empire believes it was intentional, because somebody else got hit after that, and I was like, oh, somebody gonna get thrown out,
Yeah.
because I was like, if the rule is if the empire believes it's intentional, then
Mhm.
the pitcher and the manager goes out. That makes it a totally different game.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make. That I know that they say that the players did take the show, but here's the thing: without some discipline, the umpire to the umpire discretion, he could decide that the manager couldn't be thrown out if they figured that if another ball gets thrown at somebody's head or near the body or something, the umpire could say, hey, you Dave Roberts, you're out of the game, and that could change the outcome of the game because now you have a bench coach now managing the game, and Dave Roberts is out. You know,
You
it could
taking a
it could
Hall of
it
Fame manager out of the game who's
yeah
playing chess with another manager who's really good at what he does, because messing with Otani's head and all of that, those those underhanded things that are legal, they kind of in the gray area,
right.
you know but he did it, and look at the results. Because after that, they scored a home run, a three-run home run to get to where we at now, and then caused just a fight because now the what do you call it? Uh, Toronto's pissed off at certain things, but the Dodgers are more pissed off because they're losing the game. So
Mm.
all they needed was a spark, and like I said, I think Jimenez took it too far, just giving the flame, the what do you call it, the Kindle or whatever, when you're about to start a fire,
Yeah, yeah. You
uh,
can't. Yeah,
the
yeah.
brush,
Yeah.
it
I
was
mean,
there. All he needed, all they
yeah,
needed was Jimenez to light the match and throw it, and that's why the
yeah.
both dugouts emptied out.
Yeah, it was already a very testy series anyway, and
It's
Jimenez
3-1
is
at
the
this point.
spark. Yeah, he's Jimenez was the spark that lit the fire, and then Robleski also kind of came off the mound to talk back to Jimenez. That's when the both
Gutierrez
dugouts
jumped over
started
the
coming out
thing, and
because
both.
it was just if Jimenez would have just took the hit and just keep running to first, this wouldn't happen. This would not happen.
Yeah,
Jimenez
I
should
mean,
have
he's
just
going to
walked.
first base
He should have
anyway.
just, yeah, just take your hit and go to first base. Go to first base. Take the hit, and forget about it. But you know what? These things happen, and but you know what, Tony? To your point, nothing really happened after that. With that
Well,
situation.
Springer came out and hit a base hit. Now you have man on first and second with
Yeah,
no outs or whatever, or one out. Yeah,
yeah, it was
one
one
out.
out. Clement, yeah, there's a ground out.
The
Clement
ground out
grounded
from,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
ground
yeah.
out. So you got one out. You got man on first, and then Springer comes out. He gets on second with a base hit, and then that
Mm.
Lucas is the one who strikes out 1, 2, 3, and then they were like, "Yo, the what is it? The Dodgers was like, "Yo, you got to go. You got to go."
Yeah,
They took the new
yeah. I
pitcher,
mean, yeah,
Glasgow in, and
yeah.
Robleski out. What were you gonna say?
What I was going to say, at this point, the other thing too, what happened, that I think made the decision for Roberts to get it, the deflection. It was Springer who hit that ball, and the ball hit Robleski in the leg, and then the umpire had to come out, and the trainer had to come out, and then Robleski had to throw a couple of pitches, and I don't know if um, after Luke's strikeout or whatever, maybe they saw something from Robleski and they said, "Now you're out of the game." So I think Dave Roberts took him out of the game anyway. Once he between the fight and now Springer hitting him in the leg, I think Roberts is like, "No, I'm taking this guy out." I mean, it's just
It was the best thing to do because
yeah, it was the best move. Yeah, it was the best move
You had
anyway.
Guerrero
Yeah,
coming out, and
yeah,
if the pitcher's not in the right mind, we saw that
yeah,
with Otani. If
yeah,
the
yeah,
pitcher's not in the right mind, and he's heated, he's not going to
yeah.
focus on the mental part of the game because pitching is there's a big mental part of the game. Every
That's
ball,
correct.
every strike, every pitch count, all of that messes with the pitcher's head.
Yeah,
Uh, you don't want him out there with Gutierrez Jr. coming out
yeah,
and have
yeah,
him
correct.
hit
Yeah,
a home run when you got man on first and second.
yeah. You don't. Yeah, Dave Roberts played the cards right on this one. Bring in Glass now. He's fresh. Bring him in there to face Guerrero Jr. And guess what happened? Guerrero flied out. So that ended that whole bottom of the fourth. That it actually took about 30 minutes to get through that inning. So yeah, it's just
What was
it was
remarkable is that Scherzer was still on the mound for the top of the fifth.
yeah. So
Top of
here
the
we
fifth,
go, top of the fifth, top of the fifth.
Kike Hernandez strikes out Rojas. You thinking that Scherzer's arm is like impenetrable because at this point he's striking people out in the fifth inning. A pitch count is high there. Um, Rojas singles, man on first. Pitching change at this point because they're like, okay, his arm is not what it used to be, and he did not, he didn't even fight it this time.
No.
As soon as he got that guy on first base, Rojas, hey, I'm telling you, that lineup change was worth it.
Yeah.
That lineup
It was.
change was worth it because if Rojas was there, he wouldn't have been on base. Because now you got that situation that we wanted the whole time. We want somebody on base and Otani coming to bat up. So you
Yeah.
had the pitching change with Verlander coming out and
Yeah. And
yeah,
you know the good thing, Tony, on this right here, if you notice too, when Scherzer came out of the mound, the Toronto fans, man, they cheered for him. They were standing up cheering for him. And then he acknowledged, he put his hand up and acknowledged, thank you. And that right there, my friend, is probably the last pitch that you're gonna see from Scherzer. He I think the Toronto fans were smart and they're very gracious, and they knew that even though that Scherzer only pitched that 1 year for them this year, they knew that Scherzer was the Hall of Famer or the great player that he was, and they wanted to give him a good goodbye and give him a standing ovation out the field and set him on his way to retirement because
yeah.
that's the proper way to do it. The fans did the right thing. And so I give the shout out to the Canadian folks, Toronto, Canada out there for cheering for Verlander and to be be a good sport in the game, right? That's the way to do it. I mean, the guy gave you 4 innings, 4.5 innings, and 42 years old, man. Come on, he gave you all he got. So here we go, and now we have
We have a
again,
pitching change.
yeah, pitching
Scherzer
change.
is
We got
out. He
Varland,
is
right? We got Varland.
he is congratulated, like you said, by the Toronto fans. And again, it's probably his last. Like you said, it's probably his last. Definitely his last in the World Series, but it's probably his last pitch in MLB altogether. He's on his way
Right,
to retirement and hopefully the Hall of Fame. Um, and then we have that setup with Rojas on first. We're looking for Otani to, because it's 3-1 at this point. We're looking for
right,
Otani to tie the game with a home run, but he doesn't. But he does get a base hit, and you got man on first and second. Now
right.
you're looking for Smith or Freeman to do something because they come right after them. But what happens with
Mm-hmm.
Smith? He flies out to second. You got a second out, and then Freeman does the same thing right behind him, flies out to center, and that ends the inning. And again, what do you think about the Dodgers threatening to come back and then not delivering?
Another lost opportunity. You had first and second with only one out, and you had two good hitters coming up. And Varland, give a little credit to the young pitcher. Varland came in there, he did his job, and was able to get Smith and Freeman, two great hitters from the Dodgers' tremendous lineup, and then make the 3 outs. But yeah, man, that's Toronto. Schneider, the manager, pulling the strings again and changing the pitching quickly to be able to stay with the momentum because at this point it's still 3-1. It's still a winnable game. So now we go to the bottom of
Bottom
the
of
fifth, I guess.
bottom of the fifth. Glasgow still on the mound. Bichette lines out. Barger strikes out. But Kirk again is another threat that you needed to be neutralized. He base hits, and then to no avail. Toronto leaves a guy on first, and Varsho grounds out
Yeah,
to end the inning. The top of
yeah,
the sixth.
it,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
it could be. Here's another thing that Varsho played center field in this World Series. His defense was amazing. But one thing that he did not do is he just did not hit enough. And it seems to me like every time Toronto needed to continue the rally, just Varsho just could not help himself but to ground out or foul out and strike out. And he just did not have a good hitting. That was a key. Varsho's a key guy, and he's just did not. I mean, you had Mookie Betts on the other end for the Dodgers not hitting, but on the Toronto side, you did have Barshow not hitting. And you needed him to hit, man, because he was every time he came up, there was people on base, and he just could not capitalize. And so there you go. That's a mismatch, right there for Toronto.
Varland
So they
does
had
not.
their opportunities,
Varland does not come out for the top of the sixth. There's a
right?
pitching change, and Bassett takes over the mound. At that point, Mookie Betts is the first one up, which is kind of weird because you don't really want him to bat first, but he's batting first, and remarkably, he's walked. Now you got man on first. Muncy comes out from behind. Muncy has been a dangerous figure as well. He's hit and miss, but when he does hit, it could be a home run. It could be a line drive or whatever. It could be a multitude of batting situations with Muncy. Muncy is pretty versatile at that. And what does he do? Base hit, straight to the outfield. Man on first and second. Now advancing the running thing, there was only a few times that I saw. Uh, I think it was the Toronto that it was advancing the running with bunting and stuff like that. But
Right,
this would have been a good situation because there was no outs at this point
right,
to advance the runner, steal a base. Mookie Betts, he's known for doing that every now and again. He did not take a chance. They didn't do anything. But then what do you call it? T. Hernandez comes out and we're expecting him to do something. He's kind of underperforming himself. He
well, the guy that comes out after Muncy, the key thing here after Muncy was Edmund that caused the force out for Muncy there, and
Yeah,
it became
I got
it was
Hernandez grounded to second, and then Muncy was forced out, and then Edmund comes out with a
it
sacrifice
was
fly.
yeah, it was
You got
yeah, I thought it was
T Hernandez.
yeah.
Kike Hernandez came after Edmund, so it's hard because they both got the same last name. Muskie was forced out at second. The sacrifice fly. Betts scores. The score is 3-2 at this point.
Right.
Mookie Betts makes it from third to home easily. Uh, uh, Kike, E Hernandez, base hits. You got man on first and second with two outs, and then Rojas comes out and he grounds out to end that make the third out
Right. Okay.
to end the top of the sixth, the bottom of the sixth. Oh, what do you think about that? The Dodgers finally scored, and it was Mookie Betts who did it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great situation. I mean, it was. I mean, you had a force out, and then the single, and that's taking opportunity right there to score the run. And even with that, still, I mean, you had one run scored, but you still had better another opportunity. You still had runners on base to continue this. They could have easily tied the game, but instead it's 3-2. It's 3-2. But Rojas came out there. I guess Rojas grounded out or something, and
Yeah,
that,
he
that
grounded
ended
out.
that ended the thing. But yeah, I mean,
Now
it's
Glasgow's still on the on the mound for the bottom of the sixth. Uh, then we have a situation. Clemens comes out. Clemens base hits out to left field, and then steals second.
right.
This dude, bro.
Yeah, Clement.
he makes
Clement
the
has been
base hit into triples and shit.
Yeah, Clement has been a very key contributor throughout this whole series here, and he's shown that he can hit, and he's one of the better hitters there in Toronto's lineup, and throughout the whole season, he was one of the most dependable guys. I think Clement is going to be. I think next year, I think Clement, you'll see Clement probably batting in the top of the order next year because that's where he belongs. He belongs at the top of the lineup instead of at the bottom. That's where he belongs. But there he is, stole second, and then comes Jimenez again. So here we go.
He managed hits a double, and then Clemens scores. Now the score is 3-2.
4-2, four
Four,
to
four
two.
to two, excuse me, 4-2. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
correct. 4-2. Um, then what do you call it? Glasgow people are talking about getting him up out of there. They're like, look, I think he's done whatever he needs to do, but he strikes out Springer, and then Luke hit lines out, and Guerrero uh, again, he could have done some damage there, but he didn't. He grounds out, and that ends the inning.
yeah. Again, here this is another inning that the Blue Jays had runners on base. Jimenez moved to third base on the field on the flyout. He was able to run to third on the flyout, and Guerrero could not drive him in, and he flies out. Grounds out. It's another opportunity for the Jays. This easily could have been 5-2 right here. Easily could have been five to
Easily,
two.
very easily, very easily.
And the Blue Jays. If anything, we look back, and I know we're going to finish up the next few innings. If we look back at this game, the Blue Jays out hit the Dodgers 14-11. 14 hits. That's not, and I'm not talking how many walks they got too. So that's what, another 3 or 4 more base runners, because they walked a lot too. So you had like 20 men on base, and you only score 4 runs. That's losing. That's not taking advantage of and capitalizing on your scoring opportunities.
Yeah,
You know.
for me, like when I played as a youngster, I was an aggressive base runner. We didn't have no base coaches and nothing like that. You know, we didn't have none of that. So we decided when we were gonna run or not.
Right.
And I was an aggressive base runner. If I got caught between second and third, I would take that chance. And but again, I'm all for aggressive base running. But if you got guys, you got to figure out a way to get those runners at least to second and third.
All right.
And then if they're in third, they're in scoring position. You need to get them. You gotta get it. You gotta get them to score.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A pop up, a bunt, something that's gonna advance the runner. That's like my biggest thing in baseball. Advance the runner. If they're on base,
Yeah.
you gotta advance the runner. You can't have them. You can't have bases loaded and then that's it.
Yeah.
Come on. But again, this is another opportunity. Toronto gave up and they lost. They paid the price, the ultimate price.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
this is game 7.
14. Yeah, 14 hits, 5 bases on balls, and they got hit by pitch 2 or 3 times, and that's 20 something runners right there, and you come out only with 4 runs out of this whole game. That that tells the story right there and why you lost. That tells the story right there. Seriously,
Exactly.
that's the story. I mean, Toronto had. I mean, throughout this whole World Series, Toronto had plenty of opportunities to score. Plenty of opportunities.
And Toronto's seeing what happened at the top of the 7th. We have a pitching change. We get the
Right.
22-year-old phenom. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to call him a phenom. We get the
Yeah.
22-year-old phenom to come out and replace Bassett uh, for I don't know how many innings he's done already in the World Series, but he's definitely the youngest one to do it.
Right.
Um, and he walks Otani. Smith flies out. Freeman does a ground ground double play that ends the inning. Boom, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
youngster does it again. How impressed
Yeah.
are you by this youngster?
I'm very impressive for a young man to be 22 years old. He started in the minor leagues this year and worked his way up all the way and into the majors. And amazingly, he is one of the top pitchers in the World Series. And I mean, he struck out 12 Yankees in the championship, right? The championship round. And then he struck out 12 Dodgers a couple of days ago. This is
And
just an
three
amazing
more.
feat.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feat by a young guy. Very. He looks very poised. I mean, he looked like he belongs out there. You know, he had no like he had ice in his veins. He had ice in his veins, and was not afraid to pitch against these major leaguers, man, and to pitch against a tough Dodgers lineup, a professional lineup.
The Dodgers managers has seen enough of Glasgow, and he gets taken out at the bottom of the seventh. Sheehan starts the inning off, or the bottom of the seventh, excuse me, the bottom of the seventh, strikes out Bichette, who was a dangerous guy, been hitting home runs. He hit a home run tonight. Badger was another one that's been stealing bases, doing all kinds of craziness, causing problem. He grounds out, um, and then Kirkland singles. But again, another situation where a guy's on first base, and then you got Vershow not doing nothing about Kirk being on first base. Uh, Another opportunity lost by Toronto.
Right.
Now we're in the top of the eighth. We're in the top of the eighth inning, and then we have um, the youngster back on the mound. Uh, your Savage,
Yep.
and then Betts grounds out. Muskie, what does he do to answer that ground out? He hits a home run, solo home run. Uh, was it a solo home run?
It was a solo home run. Yeah, it made the score 4-3 at that point. Four to
Four to
three.
three. Score 4-3. Solo home run. Hernandez comes out, grounds out, and the pit. Excuse me. That was a rare time you said that your Savage gave up a home run.
Yeah, he normally doesn't give up a home run throughout this playoffs, and that triggered the manager to get him out of the game. But I mean, he did get Teoscar Hernandez on the ground out, but now you got a pitching change, and now you bring in the who's the closer for the Blue Jays all season, Jeff Hoffman. So he comes in a little earlier in the eighth inning to face Tommy
Edmund.
Edmonds. Yep.
And Edmund grounds
Yeah,
Edmund
Tommy
grounds
Edmonds.
out.
Yeah.
Edmund grounds out
Yep.
uh to close the top of the eighth. And then right now it's only 4-3. Toronto's
Oh yeah.
still leading.
Yeah.
The the end is near. We're thinking this game is over. But nobody's leaving Toronto. No one's leaving the stadium. No
Right.
one's leaving the stadium. It the
Yeah.
the Toronto fans was there. They were loud. You would think, they already had won the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the story doesn't end. I'm thinking it's a to me the eighth inning and the ninth inning are like the championship rounds,
Right.
and in boxing, you got the 11th and 12th, and back in the day, it was the 14th and the 15th round.
Right.
This is this generation's championship rounds, and it showed improve. The Toronto crowd was loud and on their feet, and
Mm-hmm.
they thought they had this one with a score of 3-4 by 1 point. And like you've said in the past, whenever you play a good team, you got to make sure your score is maybe double that. You can't have a close match of 1 or 2 points. And at this point, is 1 point, a 1 point lead.
Right.
So
Right.
you got on the mound, Sheehan bats pitches to Clemens, who doubles, and then I start freaking out because now you got Clemens on second base, and then they call out Snell to take over for Sheehan, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, this is not a good move. I'm looking for your Momoto to come out. I'm looking for anybody but Snell. Snell lost 2 games for the Dodgers. He lost 2 games for the Dodgers, man. I was like, this is not a good look. And again, you all hands on deck. All hands on deck. So if all hands on deck, you put your best pitcher out there, and it's not Snell at this point. Maybe he's
Yeah.
better in the regular season, but in the World Series, he lost 2 games, and
Right.
they gave him too much leeway, but they put him in. Any opinion on that?
No, I agree with you. This is probably not the right move to make. Dave Roberts probably should have went with Yamamoto at this point. And you got to go with your best guy. And by the way, Yamamoto was out there. He was throwing in the bullpen. He was
He was
throwing
in
in
the
the
boat. He
bullpen.
was warming up in the
He was on
boat.
the bullpen throwing. So and you had other guys out there. And you know what? Anybody else could have been better than Snell at this point. I mean, you had a couple other guys out there too. And but you went with you went with Blake Snell. Yamamoto stayed at the bullpen. But lucky Blake Snell. This is what I call him, lucky Blake Snell. And because he says things that are everybody had a luck.
It's
So
luck.
you know
Yeah.
what, buddy? Coming back to you, buddy,
It-
you have luck too because Jimenez lines out, Springer strikes out, and then Schneider becomes the pinch hitter for Lukes, and then Schneider strikes out. So yeah, good for you, man. Your lucky strikes.
you're lucky.
And
That's
you guys
funny.
you
You
get your
mentioned that shit. He said Toronto was lucky because they hit 2 home runs on him,
yeah
97 miles an hour ball. Dude, you pitched right down the middle twice.
yeah.
That's not lucky. That's skill.
If you throw a 98 fastball, you miss, and then you're gonna throw a 97 followed by a 97 fastball. Expect some contact. You know, don't
Thank
expect
you.
don't expect somebody not to hit that.
They gonna hit
You
it.
know,
They
they're
gonna hit
gonna
it.
hit it.
And
You
the
know,
first pitch,
you don't expect. And then the other thing is not that you make the mistake with Schneider, then you made the mistake again with Guerrero. That's back to back home runs.
right?
So it's not lucky.
It's
First of all,
skill.
Guerrero is one of the guys that's MVP material. Okay, so don't expect Guerrero to miss that. Okay, he's this is an MVP caliber player. All right, so let's not call this luck. Let's call this Guerrero has skills.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just call that the way it is. But anyway, now
Dude,
you go
Snell
to the
makes it out of the inning with
yeah
no
he made it out.
no more additional damage.
Yeah.
It's right now it's 3-4. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the Dodgers are losing the game, and time is not on their side. Time is
Right.
not on the Dodgers side. We at the top of
Yeah.
we at the top of the ninth. They either do
Yeah.
some, they either do something, or there won't be a bottom of the ninth
Yeah. Yeah.
because
The
the
yeah.
rule is if the home team is ahead by the bottom of the ninth, you don't have to play it because there's no reason to continue.
Right. That's correct.
So what
Yep.
happens? Hoffman is out there pitching. Hoffman, they put the ball on Hoffman to close it out. I think you said that's the normal close. He's a normal
Yeah. He's the
closer.
normal closer. Yeah.
And Rojas, the veteran who got put in because of underperforming players, 2 players, not just one, 2, Pajes and Call. And Call was better than Pajes, but Call was messing up, and so he had to go. This guy's been in the dugout for the longest time, Rojas, and bam, home run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rojas Rojas comes in clinch for the Dodgers to tie the game because they were about to lose the World Series. They were about to lose the World Series 3-4. Rojas hits the home run. Otani comes out, strikes out. Otani had nothing. Smith strikes out, had nothing. The only thing that saved the Dodgers was Rojas because if you look, it was technically 1-2-3.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Kike struck out, and then here comes Rojas with the home run. And boy, has he been clutch, man. Rojas has been clutch. He goes in and plays second base, right? Because then you can move Tommy Edman to center field. You know, that gives that versatility to move that guy to center field. And you're talking about a veteran here, Rojas, who's been playing in the major leagues for many years. Okay, for many different teams. But good on. Here's the thing. Good on the Dodgers to pick up this guy a couple of years ago and say, "Hey, we're going to need a veteran to be on the bench when we need someone to get their mind straight. We could put Rojas at second base. We could put Rojas at third base. We could put Rojas at shortstop. Rojas has played several positions in that team. So when you have a valuable veteran like that, you're talking about winning baseball here. And this guy hits a home run. Good on him, man. Good on you, Rojas. I'm taking hats off to you, man. You know, it's called Latino power, baby. There we
Dude,
go.
it was it was
Latino
it,
power.
it, it, it was clutch. It was clutch. It was a clutch. I mean, if he didn't hit that home run, the game was over. The game was
Absolutely.
over.
Oh yeah.
The game was over. Rojas, they need to give him a pay increase or something because right now the Dodgers are world champions because of him. Because
Yeah.
there would be no bottom of the ninth if Rojas did not hit that home run.
Oh yeah.
There he
Oh
is
yeah.
enjoying the fruits of his labor, making it home. Dude, he earned every bit of his ring this year. Whatever he did in the past, forget about it. This was his crowning achievement in the World Series. I don't care what
So,
anybody says. You're gonna have to put some respect on Rojas' name. I don't know if he's gonna be a Hall of Famer or not, but he's guaranteed to be, for people to put a respect on his name because of what he did tonight. The Dodgers
yeah.
would have lost. They would have lost three to four if he didn't do it. The guys you were
Yeah.
expecting, the guys you were expecting to do something to put you on the map. The guys you were expecting, Otani and Smith at the top of the lineup, they did not. And remember, Rojas was put in the lineup because of Call and Pajas. Pajas is
Mhm.
usually in that position, and Pajas got taken out, and then Call got put in, and Call got taken out because he was underperforming.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about Smith here in a minute because he's going to be critical here coming up. But we're going to talk about him. But I think the critical guys there, like Freeman and Otani, Otani was really quiet in this game. Freeman didn't do very much in this game, and Betts didn't do nothing in this game. Nothing. You know, and for the Dodgers to win this game, it came from other people, right?
From the bench
And the lineup changes. And so,
and the
so you know,
lineup changes.
Smith becomes a key player, a momentum player here coming up soon, and we're going to talk about that here. But here we go to the bottom of the ninth, Tony. So here we go.
Snell is still on the mound, remarkably. I'm
Yeah,
like, dude, take this Joker out. Please take this Joker out. Because now it's a
yeah.
tie game. And please, what you need right now, for me, in my opinion, what you need right now is you want the best pitcher out there, the best pitcher out, the best closer. If I had Mario Rivera, dude, go out there now. You don't keep a pitcher who's a little shaky and is not 100%. Mario Rivera would have been out there. 1, 2, 3, and you down to the bottom of at this point the
Right.
bottom the top of the ninth.
Yeah, I
But
mean, here's in the bottom of the ninth. This is where you bring in Yamamoto. You didn't bring him up in the eighth, but you got to bring him up in the ninth. You didn't do that. You let Blake Snell pitch in the bottom of the ninth.
and then Guerrero's the first one at bat. He flies out. Luckily, that ball went deep. That ball went deep. It could have been
Oh
a
yeah,
home run because I know that I made that as a comment. I said, "Whoa, that could have been a home run." I think it went deep to left.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. I think it even hit off the wall. I don't even remember, but I know it
No,
went
he the fly out, it got caught. The outfielder was deep. Yeah, he went deep into the wall and he caught it.
and caught
So
in the wall.
it
Yeah.
got caught. It got caught. It got caught. Uh, um, but
So
then
Bichette
Bichette
hits the
said,
base hit.
"Yeah,
Now Snell already causing problems. Dude, you can't you just tied the game. You just tied the game. And you let Bichette he hit a home run not too long ago. You don't, dude. You don't. You don't pitch to him down the middle. That ball looked like it went down the middle.
Yeah.
That's not luck.
Yeah.
Snell, that's
Yeah.
not luck. That's another home run if Bichette would have got a full swing on it. But no, it's a base hit. Bichette can't run or something because
Bichette can't run. So kind of Falefa is the pinch runner now, which by the way, that was uh that was a key part of the game there. So Falefa was a pinch runner for Bichette.
you not now you got the winning run at first base.
Yeah, yeah,
You got the winning run at first base because the rule is if the home team scores at the bottom of whatever inning, that's the end of the
mhm,
game.
yeah. That's
That's the
it.
end of the game. It's not whoever scored first. If the home team scores, at the bottom of that of whatever ending inning that
Yeah,
is, that's
yeah,
the end of the game.
yeah.
So now you got the winning run. Technically, you got the winning run in the World Series championship on the line with Bichette
Right
at
there,
first, and
right there
now he
first.
got out. You got Falefu who can run his ass off, pinch running for him. He can steal bases and do all kinds of craziness. And then you got Badger coming out, and Snell walks him.
Yeah, Barger walks. Yeah,
Now you got man on first and second. This is
yep.
not now it's not just a winning run. Now you you decimating your team with a clear loss.
Now definitely Dave Roberts had
Finally
no
gets the
choice but
message that
yeah
Snell is not your guy to close.
yeah. Yeah, he Snell's out of the game, and now you bring in your ace Yamamoto. Finally,
Japan, let's go. USA, let's go. And I'm rooting for Japan. Let's go. Let's go. Yamamoto's out there. And dude, Kirk gets hit by a pitch. I'm like,
yeah,
Yamamoto, what the hell what are you doing, bro? That
bases lo- bases loaded.
Joe, base is loaded. I'm thinking Yamamoto's about to get kicked out of the game. Remember the warning that happened early in the night for the fight.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, if they say Yamamoto try to hit him on purpose, by discretion now, by discretion, if he gets called out by hitting him on purpose, the manager and Yamamoto are gone.
But here's the thing too. The umpires are really smart people, and they know these things. They know statistics, and they know that Yamamoto is not one of those pitchers that go after people. He does not hit He does not hit batters, and they also here's another thing too. You look at how Yamamoto hit where he hit Kirk at. It really it was unintentional. I mean, the ball just raised up. It went up. It went up. Normally the pitchers release the ball. It just had a release point. The ball rises up a little bit and it hit Kirk in the body. And the other thing too, Kirk took the hit and started walking to first base. Right, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
The
he didn't. He
game's
didn't
on the
start a
line.
fight. He didn't start arguing
Yeah,
with
no, no. He,
Yamamoto.
he went straight to first base. Took his glove off, went to first base. No problem. We're playing. Let's play ball. I mean, getting hit is part of the baseball. Getting hit is part of baseball. But yeah, here you are, bases loaded, and now I'm gonna tell you, man. I was looking at this game and I was at the edge of my seat. I said, man, Toronto's about to win this game, man. Come on. You know. Anyway,
Then you got Verso comes out. He forced ground out, right? So
yeah.
they throw the ball to the home plate, correct?
Right. They throw the ball to home to make the force out, and it was a really close play, really, really close play, and they had to challenge this. They did. So I think Toronto wanted to challenge this, and it was a very close play at home, and but Toronto had no choice but to challenge this. So Snyder, Toronto manager, decided, hey, let's go to the videotape and let's challenge this. So yeah, it was a very close play.
Yeah, I had
Um,
caught I had caught that. I had caught that. Let's see exactly what happened from the perspective of the camera. When because they challenged the call. They challenged the call. This is a crucial part because
Right.
if the call goes against Dodgers, it's game over. So right here you see the
Right.
score is 4-4. You see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
corner of your screen. You see the corner of your screen is 4-4, and then you can see that its bases are loaded. Bases are
Right.
loaded, but you can see that the catcher has his foot on home plate, right? A second before that, he picks up his back foot. He
Right.
picks the dude picks up his back foot. I'm like, dude, what you doing? He picks up his back foot. He picks up his back
Yeah.
foot and then he puts it back down. And like, yo, they see the replay
Just
and the crowd goes wild. The crowd
he
goes wild. Go ahead.
he put his foot down in the nick of time, and that split second, because everything's so fast. That little bit, because baseball is a game of inches, and when you look at that play, man, it was like this. It was so close. You know, that would have changed the game. And
No,
that's a good picture. That's a good picture right there. That's a
the
good
game
picture.
would have been over because you can see
Yeah,
Clemens
the game would
standing
have been
there.
over.
You can see Clemens standing. You see the umpire. He calls it out, but you can see the foot. You can see the foot
Yeah,
of the cat of the catcher. You can see the foot of
right.
the catcher. It's on the base before he reaches home plate.
Yeah.
So it's an out.
But
It's an out.
the key part, and you got to look at the catcher Smith's glove. The ball's already in
You
the glove
you can see it.
as
It's in
he
the
put. See,
glove.
the ball's already
He
in
squeezed it.
the glove, and then all he had to do is put his foot down. That's all he had to do. Put his foot down.
But he had
Yeah,
picked up his foot a second before, a
yeah,
millisecond
yeah,
before, and then he put it back
yeah,
down just in time. Because if you
yeah,
see this, there's dirt
yeah.
between who is this running in here?
This is Falefa.
Yeah,
Falefa running.
Kalefa.
Falefa. Falefa.
Kalefa.
Yeah,
And he was a
Falefa.
pitch runner. Kalefa
Yeah,
was seconds from being declared the winner of the World Series because of this. The crowd
yeah,
sees this from a different angle, and they went wild because
right.
it looked like he got there before this guy could put his foot back down. We had a situation. We had a situation not too long ago before that where what's his name? Otani flipped his foot and he got called out. Remember he switched feet because
Yeah, yeah.
the ball was in his
Second
crotch.
base. Second base.
And,
Yeah, he flipped his feet on second base,
and it was seconds. It was
and he was
seconds.
called out.
It was seconds that called
Yeah,
him out. The glove stayed in
yeah,
Otani's crotch. He got called out. It was a
yeah,
millisecond of a flip flop. Boom, out of
yeah,
here. This was the opposite situation where the catcher picks up his foot, drops it right back down, just a millisecond before Falafel gets there.
yeah,
You can see it. You
yeah,
can see it in the image, just seconds before that gets there. That if that would another situation that if it would have been capitalized on, that would have ended the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Toronto fans had broken hearts right there because you're talking about what a it happened. And his thing, it happens in the bottom of the ninth inning, which is like amazing. That it was an amazing situation that the game was decided by a narrow margin of an inch. It was decided. The game was decided a narrow of an inch. That was the game decided right there. And then, well, they still had a chance, right? Because then Clement
You saw
flies out.
Clemens in the picture. You saw him. He was
Yeah,
already ready to bat.
yeah,
He was already ready
yeah,
to bat. There he is right there when it
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, he's looking at the play, but then he becomes the third out, and the bottom of the ninth is over. It was so for the Toronto Blue Jays, so close, but so bad, right? So close, but
Exactly.
not quite, not quite.
Exactly. Another missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity. If Kalefa would have got off third base sooner, he would have made it to the. He would have made it to the. And mind you, when the Toronto crowd saw that same play from a different camera angle, it looked
Yeah.
like he was safe. It looked like he was
Yeah.
safe. The call from the home plate umpire was out immediately. But
Yeah.
the only reason the crowd went wild, it was because they challenged the call and it was like, we got this. We got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Clemens comes
Yeah.
out, we going into overtime.
Right.
We going into
We're going
overtime. It's 4-4. And now you got
top of the top of the 10th.
top of the 10th. You got Dominguez. Dominguez now pitching. And Freeman comes out. We figuring Freeman gonna do something. He don't. He flies out. Mookie Betts. Again, another weird situation, but Mookie Betts get walked. Now you got man on first. You got the winning run on first base right now. Toronto, I don't know what Dominguez was thinking about, but Dominguez, yo, what happened, bro? You put
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, dude. Mookie Betts has not been batting anything.
Yeah.
You should have got him up out of there. But Mookie
Yeah.
Betts ends up on first base, and then guess what happened? Muskie comes out and he hits a base hit. Now you got man on first and second. Not
Yeah.
not only the winning run is there, because I think what this is the top of the 10th. Now you got the winning run
Yep.
on second base, and then you have a little extra on first. Then
Yeah.
T. Jimenez gets walked.
Right.
Dude,
Hernandez. Yeah. Hernandez gets walked. Yeah.
Hernandez, yeah, Hernandez. T. Hernandez gets walked. You got bases loaded, my brother. Bases loaded.
Yep.
Dominguez, what you doing? It's the top of the 10th. We in overtime. Anybody scoring is gonna cause damage.
Yeah.
Dude. So what happens? Perez comes out, and you expecting him, like we were talking about. Perez, all he's been doing is hitting fly balls, popping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
was like, dude, do your job. Do exactly what you've been doing. Don't change nothing now.
Yeah.
Don't change nothing now. Go ahead and hit a pop up. Hit a pop up.
Well,
Yeah.
all we needed, what we needed from Pages at that moment was a deep fly ball. That's what we needed from him, and that did not happen. That did not happen. Instead, what we got is a ground out, which forced Betts to get thrown out at home. Now this one, Betts was really out at home. There was not even that's not even a close play. I mean, he was out, big time out, because the ground ball came right to. Here's the thing, Jimenez, the Toronto shortstop Jimenez, he ran to the ball, positioned himself, and fired it to home right away. That's how you play baseball. That's how you play baseball, because you're not going to hesitate. You're going to throw straight to home. And Betts was thrown out again, thrown out at home. It wasn't even challengeable. There's no challenge here. Even Dave Roberts was like, "No, let's continue playing. He's out," you know. And then again, the Dodgers had an opportunity, and then Kike grounds out, and
That
another
that
wasted
close,
opportunity.
that
Another
closes
wasted opportunity.
the Dominguez gets lucky, and we're using that loosely now.
Yeah,
Um, the situation occurs, and he gets out of there without causing any extra damage. The
yeah,
score is still tied, but Yamamoto is still on the mound.
yeah,
Yamamoto, let's go, Yamamoto. We are into extra innings now, Yamamoto. We
yeah,
are into extra innings now. What are we gonna do? Yamamoto comes out, Jimenez comes out, grounds out immediately. Grounds out.
yeah, yeah.
Springer comes out. He's been doing pretty good after his little back injury incident. And I think we think he got stenosis of the back or something like that.
I don't know where it's a
We're
speculation right
speculating,
now,
but
speculating.
that's what it looks
So,
like.
but he's been having back issues for a number of years now, and we'll just have to pay attention to it next year, see what happens. But
He strikes out.
yeah,
Then
checks out.
Straw also strikes out.
The straw flight out. He flight out.
Flight out. Excuse me. Flight out.
He flight out. No, but it was. But here's the thing. Cat, I keep my cat. Again, Yamamoto showing that he is the tremendous pitcher that he is. 1, 2, 3. Because if you do 1, 2, 3, now your team gets back into the hitting circle, and let's go. Let's capitalize on the momentum of hitting the ball, right? Because we just got off from a bases loaded situation, and now so Yamamoto does the right thing. I'm gonna get this inning over with so we can move, so we could get on to the offense, and that's what he did, and that's what a good pitcher does.
And
so here we go, top of the 11.
He's definitely a good pitcher. We was like, okay, this is gonna be a big one, like the other game, and we're gonna go all night because it's a tie game at this point. They're making mistakes. Both teams are starting to make mistakes that are unnecessary, and once you start doing that, things happen.
Right.
Things happen. So now we're at the
top of the 11th.
Top of the 11th.
Yep.
And we get a pitching change.
Yep, Shane Bieber.
Bieber's in. I think Dominguez is out.
Right.
And then Rojas comes out to lead after that spectacular home run in the 9th inning to solidify the overtime that we're in now. He grounds out. Ohtani grounds out. Smith. Dude. Smith. This is where you said we're gonna talk about Smith.
Right.
Smith hits the winning home run. 5-4 at this point. Freeman grounds out to end the inning. Talk to me about Smith.
Well, Smith, he's been clutch in many games in the regular season and in the playoffs as well. Smith, one of the best hitting catchers in the league. Okay, and you're gonna throw a ball right down the middle, and he took it upper deck. Okay, upper deck. There's no question this was a home run. It was gone.
Look at the trajectory of the ball. I don't know if you can see it there.
Yeah.
Look at the trajectory of the ball.
Oh, it was right there, man. I mean, you talking
right in the center. I mean, again, this is not luck now. Why did he do this? I don't know, but you could see it. You can see the trajectory of the ball right in the middle. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Look at it. What do you think, man? Look at it.
Smith caught it right there at the middle of the bat right there, and took it out and out of the ballpark. It's just
luck.
It was a tremendous.
Snell is luck.
No. Hey, it's not like, check it out. It's not like Smith is not one of the better catchers in the league. He's proven that he's been one of the better hitting catchers in the league now for several years now. So this is the reason why this guy's a professional hitter, and also he's a tremendous catcher. He caught all these games. He caught all the games. No, there's no rest for him. He was in all the games, right? And hats off to Smith. And but hey, it's not over yet. It's not over.
It's not because
it's not over. Freeman grounds out.
The reason,
and now we go to the bottom of the 11.
The reason it's not over. The reason it's not over is because the Dodgers failed to be a better team during the regular season, so they do not have home field advantage. Right. If they have home field advantage, it'd be a different story. The game would be over right now. But Ohtani, Yamamoto is back on the mound for the bottom of the 11th. And guess what? Guerrero's first at bat. Guerrero Jr. is first at bat, and we know he's dangerous.
But before that happens, one of the things that Dave Roberts does is he does a lot of defensive switches.
Yes, he does. Talk to me.
And he did so in center field, we have Dean taking over at center field. Pa has moves from right field to left field, and Duke Kim is now who's by the way he's one of the best defensive second basemen out there. He goes and takes over second base. So basically, what he did is he put his best defensive players and puts them in the field. And I'm gonna tell you that kind of works out because here we go. We start off with Guerrero. So what did Guerrero do, Tony?
Man, Guerrero, Yamamoto's there. Guerrero doubles. Pow! Gone. Dude, we like, yo, I thought that was going to be a home run. I swore that was going to be a home run.
Yeah.
But he doubles. He's on second base now. And
Yeah.
Falafel, who almost scored the winning run, just in I think it was the ninth inning, just that we just talked about, that he was the one, Falafel was the one who barely made it,
Yeah.
who barely
Yeah.
missed the home plate.
Right. But
So
he does a
Falefa's now
beautiful
batting.
sacrifice.
He
Yeah,
does a
he does a
sacrifice.
beautiful bunt. Yeah.
He does a sacrifice bunt. Guerrero
He did
Jr.
what he's supposed to do. Yeah, he did what he's supposed to do.
Guerrero Jr. goes to third. Now the Dodgers are in trouble.
Oh yeah.
You got
Big
the
time.
winning run at third base. You got
Oh
the
yeah.
winning run at third base. Yamamoto,
Oh yeah.
we like, boy, Yamamoto. Come on, man. Yamamoto. Let's go, Yamamoto. Dude. Now you got the Toronto has the winning run, and the stuff that we talked about earlier is still coming to fruition at this point. It's still
Yep.
coming to fruition
Yep.
because what happens next? Um, Barger gets walked.
Yeah. Now it's first and third now.
You got first and third. All you need is one of those two to come make it to home plate, and the game is over. The game is over.
The thing is that if Guerrero scores, it'll be a tie game, and that means that the game will continue if that's the case.
Right. The
But here
winning
we
run
go.
is at on first by the way.
On first, yeah, Barger's the winning run, yeah,
And Barger's a dangerous guy.
yeah.
And then
So
yeah, go ahead.
It's first and third now. You know, Barger goes to first. It's first and third.
And then the amazing thing happens, bro. Amazing thing happens, which happens all the time in baseball. Kirk grounds double play, ends it, and Yamamoto wins the game 5-4. Dodgers are still your World Series champions. And
Back to back.
still back to back, the winners of the World Series. You can see it here. Yamamoto is screaming to the gods of baseball, and I don't know who is that. The catcher trying to pick him
Smith.
up off the ground.
Smith. That's Smith. Yeah, Smith.
If you look at the right corner, you see the man on first and third. First and third. The winning run was at first base. And again, the story is Toronto did not capitalize when they had the opportunity, but Yamamoto closed it out to be the hero of, of this of this team. Of this team. Talk to me about Yamamoto and what just happened.
Well,
And Toronto not doing what they were supposed to do.
Yamamoto, he is one of the best pitchers that the Dodgers have had, and we've been talking Yamamoto for this whole series. This is his third victory in the World Series, right? Because he won 2 games already.
Yep.
And now he's won
one
the
was a
third
complete
one.
game.
The one was a complete game. Then he won the second game, and now he wins the third game. So I don't know how many pitchers has ever won 3 games in the World Series, but this is going to go down in history as one of the best pitching performances in Dodgers history, because this guy really he put it on the line for the Dodgers, and he Yamamoto, hats off to you, my friend. You earned your $300 million. You earned it, man. You earned it. If the Dodgers, I'll tell you what, the you know Toronto had their chance. They had opportunities, but once again, Dave Roberts pulling the strings. He made the right moves, and believe it or not, that double play um, started, and Mookie Betts ran to second and then threw it to first, right? So that it became an easy double play. The ball came right to the shortstop. Mookie Betts stepped on second, throws it to first. Game
Over.
over. Game over, man. And the Dodgers win the World Series. Well, congratulations, Dodgers, for winning the World Series. Um, Bringing the championship back to the National League again. And and I guess we need to start talking about the Dodgers, see if they can make a three-peat, because this team pretty much is going to be fully intact. I mean, I think most of these guys are coming back next year. I think Muncy is one of the few free agents they have, and there's a couple others. But as far as the main core of the unit of what they have right now, they're going to be back, and this team is still going to be very good. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is gonna retire as well. I mean, you got Scherzer retirement for Toronto. Clayton Kershaw is gonna retire. Oh yeah, there you go, Clayton Kershaw, man. I mean, he wins another World Series, right? That's his third one, right?
Yep.
And yeah, man.
You got his
Clayton
kids there
Kershaw.
celebrating with him out in the
Yeah,
field. And congratulations to him. You can see him here.
congratulations to him.
Hey, what do you think about his career though, real quick? What do you think about Kershaw?
Hall of Famer, man. Clayton Kershaw is gonna go down in history in our generation. For our generation, for this generation that we live in, he's going to go down as one of the best pitchers in our generation. And hats off to him. He pitched, ideally, three Cy Youngs and a couple of World Series rings, championships. He was also MVP. So, you know, hats off to him. What a great career. You got two Hall of Famers, Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw, retiring, and we'll say goodbye to those guys. And I'm sure we'll see Clayton Kershaw maybe working for the Dodgers in some capacity, coaching or something, or a special assistant or something. And I think Scherzer will be somewhere. I mean, these guys are good minds. They have experience, and I'm sure that they could be mentors for the upcoming pitching staff that are around the league. So,
Well,
uh,
you talk about coming back, but we cannot discount the fact that Toronto was really close and had many opportunities to win the World Series. They
right,
they they made it to Game 7 of the World Series, and it took the Dodgers again extra innings to eliminate them. They're coming back, but to me, I want a New York team to win. Me
right,
preferably the Yankees, you preferably the Mets. But if the Mets make it, they were supposed to make it this year. They didn't, according to their owner. He made a prediction that they were going to make it this year.
right.
They didn't. But next year, hopefully, they make the changes they need to make it. Because I wouldn't mind seeing the Mets win the World Series in this lifetime.
Yeah,
Because I, I
yeah. I
I see
mean,
I saw them in '86. I was a little kid, but
yeah. I mean, I saw that World Series. I was fortunately and unfortunately, I was in the military, and I was watching the game overseas, and yeah, it was a proud moment for me as a New Yorker to see the Mets win in '86, with Keith Hernandez and Gooden and all those guys. Um, However, um, we have not been close. I mean, the closest we came
the
was in
Subway
2015.
Series,
Well, the Subway Series, but recently,
the Yankees.
2015, we lost against Kansas City in 2015, and we couldn't come back after that, you know. And then last year, um, we played the Dodgers for the National League Championship, and we
The
couldn't beat
Dodgers
the
took you
Dodgers.
out.
Yeah, we did. We did. The Dodgers beat the Mets, and then of course, presumably they won the World Series last year. But remember, it was the Mets who they met last year. It was, you know, they met the Mets, and by the way, the Mets gave it all they had. You know, it took it all the way to Game 6, and the Dodgers took it. You know, 4 games to 2. But there was a couple of games there that the Mets should have capitalized, and they didn't. And it could have been the other way. It should have been 4-2 game for Mets. The Mets should have been in the World Series against the Yankees last year. You know, but that didn't happen. And then it was the Yankees against the Dodgers, and then, you know, as you know, the history, the Dodgers obliterated the Yankees last year. You know, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even
Um,
close.
it wasn't
And
even close. Four games to one,
and
something like that. I think it was four.
I think that the Yankees are due a management change. And at this point, I think not only the manager has to go, but the general manager should go too.
Yeah,
There's no more. We're the Yankees are our dynasty team for New York for
yeah,
MLB.
right,
They're the winningest team in baseball.
right,
They always make it to the dance or get close to the dance, but for the last decade or so, they have not. I think 2009 was the last time that they made it. It's
right,
it's 2019 was 10 years, and now we're in 2025 going to 2026.
right.
They have not even come close, and a lot of that portion of that time was with Aaron Boone. Boone needs to go. He done his
Yeah,
time. Thank you for your service. Uh, wish you the best on your future endeavors.
right.
And we move on with somebody new, someone fresh, new ideas, new perspectives. If you look at the two managers that played tonight, the
Mm,
strategic changes they made, the strategic uh, moving of the bases, those things, the Yankees, Aaron Boone doesn't have those skills. So he can win all the games he won in the regular season, but the
yeah,
playoffs are different beast. The
yeah.
playoffs is when those
Absolutely.
managers do everything they have to do to get to the top. And tonight you could so you from the beginning, the manager messing around with Otani, and he got Otani up out of there. He got him
Yeah,
off his rhythm, got him off his game. They scored. They had a 3-0 run because Otani got off his game, and it
right,
ended up being a batter instead of a pitcher batter. That
right,
he didn't even go long. But that
right.
said, the Mets have an opportunity next year, and hopefully they make the changes. What are the changes you think both teams should make, starting with the Mets?
Well, for the Mets, the biggest change they have to make is their starting pitching. They have to be. They have some pitching, but the Mets don't have a Yamamoto. They don't have that quality ace that you're gonna say. I mean, look at the Dodgers. You bring in Yamamoto, the chances of winning is tremendous. The guy's gonna give you a full effort, and he's the ace of that staff. And he's gonna and when you have a losing streak, you need an ace to stop that losing streak. And Yamamoto's the man. The Mets don't have that. The Mets don't have the ace. Um, we need to get one, and I think the management really understands that now. They need to get that ace, and here's another thing too. I think the Mets need a number two. They need a number one and a number two. So you're missing that. You have a whole bunch of threes, four, maybe fives. And by the way, the pitching staff for the Mets is very young. I mean, McLean, Tong, they're young. They're young. They need veterans out there to help them manage the staff. The other thing the Mets need is they need to establish a better lineup to score runs. You can't. They were so top heavy. So between Soto and Alonso and Nimmo and Lindor, once those if any of those guys go into a slump, the Mets go nowhere. They're going nowhere, and because we don't have strength in the bottom of the lineup. Also, I don't agree. I mean, I love the manager Mendoza, but I really don't agree with the lineup. We have to spread that lineup up a little bit. You need to balance that lineup, and having those guys in the top of the lineup, because once Nimmo's batting cleanup, once he makes an out, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9 is weak, and we just kill the rally. I mean, it does no good to have Lindor and Soto on first and second, and you have nobody driving them in. That don't make no sense. You have to you have to change the lineup. I don't know if you take Lindor and maybe bat him fifth or something, or you have to spread that lineup a little bit. I mean, Lindor's a good leadoff guy, but I think we need to put Nimmo on top of that lineup once again at leadoff or something. I also really believe that Soto should be the third hitter. Batting second, I don't think Soto's a second hitter, even though he was successful hitting second. I think Soto more like a third hitter. I think we should start relying on one of the youngsters to bat second or third, and then move that lineup down a little bit. We need to put some youngsters getting on base ahead of these strong hitters, so we can start scoring some runs. And the third thing they got to do, which is some of the goes back to pitching, that bullpen, that bullpen needs to be fixed, man. We lost games in the eighth and ninth, seventh, eighth, and ninth inning because the bullpen was giving up runs. We had leads, 7-5 game leads, 5-1 lead, we had 2 or 3 game run leads, and then we just give it away through the bullpen. And we never had a solid bullpen. After the second half of the season, our bullpen just went berserk. We just giving up runs like candy. It was Halloween every day at Citi Field. It was horrible. I mean, I was watching these games, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking who they're bringing up in the bullpen. It's like, oh man, this I have no trust in none of these guys. And you know what? And I can't blame the manager because everyone that he put out there failed him. Every pitcher that he put out there failed him. So who do we blame in this case? I'm going back to the leadership. Dave Stearns, the general manager, you had a chance in the second half in the midseason trades to revamp this bullpen. I mean, he did. He brought in some bullpen guys. But what we really needed was a starting pitcher, and we didn't get it. We did not get that. I'm sorry, Dave Stearns. We're going to have to do better to fix this pitching staff. If we don't fix that pitching staff, this Mets team is going nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. So I mean, the Yankees kind of in reverse. You got 2 good starters, Rondon and Fried. After Fried and Rondon,
That's
who's going
it.
to start? That's it. Once those 2 guys pitch, it was a flip flop. Like, okay, maybe we win, maybe we won't, and then the problem with the Yankees lineup, you'll have one game you score 11 runs, the next game you lose, you lose 10-2.
And then we
What
got
happened?
we have a really expensive ace who's
Yeah.
been on sick call, you know. So
But I mean, yeah, I mean,
he's expected to come back next season, but
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't know
Garrett Cole,
we don't know
Garrett Cole.
we don't know what kind of shape he's gonna come in. Yeah, Garrett Cole. We don't know what kind of shape he's gonna be in, and if
Yeah.
his pitching is gonna be on point or even better. Because some guys they do come back and they're better than they were in the
Right.
past. But
Yeah.
I don't know when his contract is up because he had a long contract too.
No, he has a long contract, so I expect him to um, kind of warm up a little bit in the first few months, April and May. But but Garrett Cole, knowing how his performance is in his career, I expect the Garrett Cole to kind of he by the time we hit the summertime, I think Garrett Cole will be up to shape and he'd be ready to go. So you have three pitchers right there that are good to go. What worries me about the Yankees is your bullpen. That bullpen of yours has to get fixed. There was a couple of games there that the bullpen just give it up. I mean, even if you have a lead, I mean, you had games that you had a 9-4 lead and then you lose this game. I mean, it's bullpen giving up these hits, and the other two, they hit a lot of home runs, and a lot of times they hit a lot of home runs with nobody on base. It's the Yankees need to somehow revamp that lineup where they're going to have to start getting some hitters to get on base so that guys like Judge, Judge could go ahead and hit his monstrous home runs. And why are you batting Judge batting? Why is Judge batting second? Your strongest hitter is batting second. I don't. I mean, why don't we go back to the old school where that your hitter, your tremendous hitter, is a cleanup guy? That's why they made. What happened to baseball these days? What's going on with baseball? Our biggest hitters are hitting first and second. I mean, look at Otani. Otani was leading off. I mean,
Exactly.
if you put Otani batting cleanup or third, I mean, wouldn't that be a much better situation for the Dodgers when he hits 50 something home runs? How many more RBIs are you going to have if you have Otani batting third? I just don't think Otani, Judge, Soto, Guerrero, they should not be batting up top of the lineup first and second. I mean, like look what Toronto did. They had to change it. Guerrero was batting third, and it worked out for a little bit, right? I mean, but these big bats, man, I don't know where baseball changed the philosophy. I thought that in my time, I used to watch these big hitters, Mickey Mantle and all these guys. I mean, they were hitting cleanup, hitting fourth and fifth. I mean, in the run distribution, the batting lineups were evenly distributed a little bit. But it's just a philosophy now, man, and I'm not sure I quite agree with that hitting philosophy with the lineups being set up the way they are. But you know what? It's working for the Dodgers. But you know what?
Well, the Dodgers, the
Yankees,
Dodgers, the Dodgers had a bad lineup too.
yeah,
They finally figured it out. They saw who was producing, and then they changed the lineup accordingly. Because for them, Otani batting first, the end of the lineup, 8 and 9 need to be somebody who's going to get on base. They don't
right,
have to be. They just got to be reliable. They don't have to be
right,
home run hitters. And then once they get on base, then you have Otani coming up,
yeah,
and he starts off the game, so you can get a leadoff run, a home run, and then
yeah,
that can set you off in the right direction. But if you have somebody like Pages at number 9, who hits pop up and stuff, he's good for situations where you got bases loaded and you need somebody to hit a fly ball, a sacrifice fly, in order to get that third baseman to come home and that second runner to go. Even if they got the guy at first out at second for a double play or whatever, you still score 2 runs.
yeah.
So Pages has a place, and from my understanding, he's excellent on the outfield. So
No, I mean, and there's and certainly Pajes was not the same hitter from the regular season to the World Series to the playoffs. He was not the same hitter because this is not a. This guy hit what 29 home runs. This is not the 29 home run guy that we saw in the regular season. This is not the same guy. Not the same guy. And by the way, he drove in. He also drove in a lot of runs, in that lineup in the regular season. But this is not the RBI guy that we saw in the regular season. It was a different person. It's like we have a different version of Pajes. And not to knock on him because he is a good player and possibly the limelight. Just like people like
pressure
there are
bust
certain
pipe.
players.
The
Yeah,
pressure was too
certain
much.
people. Yeah, certain players can play in New York. Certain players cannot. Certain players can play in Los Angeles. Certain players cannot. When you got the big cities, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Boston, those are the big cities, man. And if you don't perform in Boston, they're gonna boo you to death. They're gonna boo you. New York, same thing. Another team, another place that you need
New
to
York has
perform
gotten
is
so
Phil.
bad at times when the teams were bad that they
Yeah,
would fans would throw beer and crap at the players going into the dugout. There was a
yeah,
situation where Mr. Met got thrown a thing and he gave him the finger and then we're talking about the mascot here.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You
No,
cannot be messing up. What do we call it? Major markets.
major market teams, Boston's, New York, Chicago's, Philadelphia. Those are the major markets. And if you don't perform there, people are gonna boo you. They're gonna let you have it. You don't
They pay a
perform, they're
lot of
gonna
money
let you
for
have it.
tickets though. You gotta respect
Yeah,
them too.
I mean, Mookie Betts last year. If you, I don't know if you remember last year, he was getting booed last year. Mookie Betts was getting booed. I mean, he had a horrible season last year. And this year he kind of improved a little bit, especially when he moved to shortstop and he became a better player this year. But last year, man, he got booed out of some of the games. Man, it was a horrible, man. It was just he just could not get going. And last year in the World Series, but Betts didn't do nothing last year. Also, this is this is becoming a problem for Mookie Betts
A
not
pattern.
performing in the playoffs. Not performing in the playoffs. It's beginning to be a trend for Mookie Betts not to perform in the playoffs. And somehow, some way, Dave Roberts and Mookie Betts. I mean, I love Mookie Betts. He's a great player, but in the playoffs, man, Mookie, it's not you, man. It's like it's not him. It's like a different person, especially at bat. I mean, he doesn't get some good at bats in the playoffs, and so But you know what? Your teammates picked you up, Muncy, Will Smith,
Rojas.
Freeman, Rojas, Otani at times.
Yeah.
Because Otani can't do it by himself. Otani, uh, he's he's a different type of player, man. And
I think Otani's one of the greatest players of this generation.
oh,
One of the
he's
greatest players
definitely
of this generation. And the fact that he
oh no,
pitches and
yeah,
bats, dude,
yeah,
respect to him. And
yeah,
he's a slugger. He's not
yeah,
like, just a base. He's hitting home runs after
yeah,
pitching.
yeah, yeah. He's number one in my book as far as the players is concerned. He's the number one player. So what do you think, Tony? What do you think about your Yankees? What do you think that they have to do this year?
Again, they got to get some pitching. Stop with the slugging. Get some base hitters if they can. There's some guys going on free agency, which we'll talk about here in a second. Um, and definitely get another ace.
Yeah,
Cole can't do it
yeah,
alone, and if he's eliminated the way he is, you got to have somebody else to pick
yeah,
up his slack. You
yeah,
you cannot
yeah,
rely all of it seems like all the eggs are in his basket. They're overpaying
yeah,
him. I thought he was overpaid. He hasn't brought us a championship. I don't think I don't think he's really even come close to delivering a championship. I mean, the Yankees have made it to
yeah.
to the dance, but it wasn't because of him.
Yeah, I mean, Judge has been an MVP player in the regular season, but once again, it goes to the story. Judge can't do this by himself.
But
He needs
they had
other.
they had Soto. I think
Yeah,
there was a big mistake for not courting him the way the Mets did. The
yeah,
Mets wined and dined his whole family.
right,
The Yankees had two sluggers competing, which one
right,
slugger made the other slugger better
mhm,
because Judge, while Soto was there, was breaking home run records.
right, right.
Without Soto, where did Judge go? He did good, but he's not breaking those records like he was prior to that. And some of that also has to do with his contract coming up. And now
Yeah,
that his contract has been, settled, I think he's also sometimes phoning it in. But he's still the best slugger on the Yankee team.
yeah. He's still one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, Otani for the National League, and by the way, Judge, I believe didn't he win the batting title? I thought he won the batting title for the American League.
Yeah,
So
he might have.
he won the batting title.
I'm not big on
So
participation trophies. The only trophy I
yeah,
care about is the World Series trophy because
yeah,
baseball is a team sport, not an individual sport. If it
right,
was boxing, I'd be like, okay, different. You know what I mean?
right,
But
right,
when you have a team that underperforms, and then all of a sudden you got individual trophies that are being handed out for gold gloves and stuff like that,
right,
that doesn't improve your team, and it might even dampen morale because now you got people jealous of you and be like, well, you know,
right,
you're doing good for yourself, but you're not helping the team out.
right,
So,
right.
anyways, that's just my take on because I know this past generation, these youngsters, not even our kids, our grandkids generation, they get a lot of participation trophies. So,
Yeah.
um, just for showing up. So you're a winner. Um, that's not how sports go. That's not how life goes. That's not how business goes. You know, there's winners and losers. There's guys who make a lot of money, and there's guys who barely make money, and then there's guys that are broke.
Right.
So that said, the Yankees need to turn it up uh, this next year and see where they go. But that said, this young Toronto team is going to still be reckoned with, and
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
if they plan to beat Toronto, if they plan to beat Toronto, they need to do a lot of changes that I don't think they have the capability of doing until free agency. So that
Yeah.
said, that brings us into a good segue. What is supposed to happen starting now that the World Series is over for those viewers who don't follow baseball and just follow the World Series? What happens now? What happens now to in the off season?
Well, the off season, once the World Series is over, the off season begins. Right on November 2nd, which in some cases where we at right now, for everybody now, we just turned to November 2nd. After that, um, all the players who have their contracts have run out in October, they now could be they could now freely declare themselves as free agents. And the Yankees got quite a few of them. I'll read a couple of names for you. So the Yankees: Corey Bellinger, Goldschmidt, Devon Williams, Paul Blackburn, Jonathan Loaziga, Trent Grisham, Tim Hill, Ryan Jarborough, Ahmed Rosario, Luke Weaver, and Austin Slaters. These are your free agents. Um, to me, if I were to pick a free agent that I would want back, I would want Corey Bellinger back. It's one of the few guys that I would want because besides Judge hitting the ball, Corey Bellinger was really banging it. He was really helping you guys in the lineup. And then you're talking about the lineup with somebody to score and all that. With Corey Bellinger, it makes that lineup a little bit more balanced. So if you can get him back, it'd be great for the Yankees. However, he is a guy that his agent is Scott Boras. As you know, Scott Boras likes to raise those prices a little higher, and competition for Corey Bellinger is going to be tough, man. So I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
Look, Scott Boras overprices some guys, and Cole is a perfect example of that to
Yeah,
me. To me, uh, because like soldiers, you know, when I worked with supply, I learned that soldiers were expendable, and
right.
they were on that list of expendable items. And
Okay.
baseball players are just the same. So when you put a lot of money into one player like Cole, you don't have enough money for other players. But from that list that you're telling me, the Yankees are overhauling. If they don't get all those free agents back, what happens to the team?
Yeah.
Remember,
Well, I mean,
you
you,
you still you still got Toronto out there. They're not the champions, but they came close to becoming champions. They're number two, but they're number one in the ALCS. They are the number one team to to face. The Yankees have
Right.
to face them, not the Mets. The Yankees. The Yankees got to deal with the defending champions. They're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
settle that score sooner or later.
Right.
But right now,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Yankees, and the Yankees are gonna have to face Toronto eventually. And this team is still, especially with that 22-year-old on the mound. I don't know if he's an ace or not because, to my understanding, he just came out of the major leagues. He wasn't even supposed to be a major leaguer this year. They dragged him out of the minor leagues to fill in, and they kept him, and he's been phenomenal. And if he continues in this route, the Yankees are in trouble against Toronto. Not to mention the other teams in there with Boston. We're always having problems with Boston and the other teams there. Houston. Let's go. And with the fact that you're telling me that all these guys are going to become free agents, again, I'm gonna ask that question: what happens to the team?
Yeah, I mean the Yankees. I mean right now, also some of the salaries go with these teams, these guys as well. The Yankees are going to have to revamp. I mean, for the most part here, what you're losing here is part of your bullpen, which means you're going to have to revamp your bullpen because you got Loaziga, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Tim Hill. You're losing almost 40% of your bullpen, 50% of your bullpen. You're gonna have to find it elsewhere. If you don't sign, I mean, you may not want these guys back, but you're gonna have to look and see what's available in the bullpen, and that's gonna be competition for the Yankees. Number
But
two,
but
you're
that but
missing some of your
that's a
bench
key
players
thing.
here.
That's a key
Yeah,
thing because we
yeah,
always talk about the bullpen losing the game for people, for
right,
teams.
right.
So go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No, 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 absolutely. This is a big deal for the Yankees. You're gonna have to revamp your bullpen, um, because this the bullpen wasn't good to start with, and now you're losing some of your better ones from your bullpen, and you're gonna have to revamp this bullpen. And also you're missing experience bench players like Paul Goldschmidt, who is a veteran. He was a leader. I mean, Goldschmidt had a decent season for you. He was a leader, but I'm not sure if you want him back to play first base. I'm not sure you want that. He's 38 years old. I don't know if you want that, right?
No,
Um,
I mean at this point, if they're gonna revamp, you gotta start with young. I mean, the Mets
yeah,
the Mets owner was right when he said when he first took ownership, he don't want anybody over 35 to be on the team,
yeah,
unless they're a winning champion. But as far as his farm system,
yeah.
the Mets have the best farm system in MLB right now
Well,
because
well,
of
well, it's one of the best, one
one
of
of
the
the best.
best. Yeah, one of the best.
But
Okay.
now that we have free agency coming up, now that we have free agency coming up, we also got the owners meeting I think coming up. What else
Well,
MLB has?
yeah, yeah, the owners meeting normally December. You have the owners meeting, and I don't know where they're gonna have it, and what because they change states. Normally they go to Vegas or San Diego or something. I think last year was San Diego. This year, I don't know where they're gonna be at. I got to look it up.
But
But
for
it's
those
always in
for
Dec-
those for
it's
those
always in
viewers
December.
for those viewers
Yeah.
who don't know what the owner meeting is, can you explain a little bit what goes on with that?
Well, normally, so the owners meeting is a preliminary meeting within the owners and normally general managers and other people in the staff show up. And basically, what it is, this is a preliminary look. Um, Normally, general managers talk to each other in these meetings and say, what's the possible actions and trades and things that they want to do. But mainly, also the general these owners meetings also they also start establishing maybe certain rules or effects, things that they talk about baseball, the rules. Are we going to is 2026 going to have a new rule, or we're going to take this into effect? Are we going to do, are we going to continue with the pitch clock? Because they were talking about the rule of having these robots now counting the pitches for us and everything. And I'm not sure if they're going to implement that in 2026. I know the minor leagues had the pitch count clock, the pitch clock robots, and it from what I heard, I don't know the whole situation. I heard that this was successful in the minors, And if you remember, before they did the pitch clock for the major leagues, they introduced it to the minor leagues 2 years before, and it worked in the minor leagues, and then they introduced it to the major leagues, right, as a rule. And now we have the pitch clock, which, by the way, it became favorable the last couple of years because we actually did reduce the time of the game. So the average game in baseball is about 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 20 minutes, versus back in the past, it was 3 hours. People taking their time with the bats, the gloves off, and pitchers taking their time walking to the mound. And we wish the Toronto manager was fessed up about that, Otani taking his time.
Yep.
So time was reduced. So the pitch clock became a successful major league rule. The pitch clock, and there were other rules. The base. If you look at the base itself, was a rule that was introduced. The base became bigger. It's a larger base now. So
Yes.
which led to what? I think this year, if you look at the statistics in baseball this year, we had a lot of stolen bases this year compared to what we had in the last 10 years. Like if you think about it, stealing a base, these days it was like a non-play. A lot of players don't even steal bases anymore. There was a time period where stolen bases in the 70s and 80s was a big thing. It was really a big part of the game, right? Stolen bases and getting on base. Then in the 90s, with the home runs and the steroids and all that, became the slugger thing, the slugger machine thing. And then we don't need you to run anymore. So now it took a downhill. So running came a downhill spiral in our statistics, right? Then lately, the last couple of years, we're starting to see a little bit level of stolen bases, starting to competition again, and talking about stolen bases, that is something that the Yankees don't do very well. But the Mets this year were like I think they finished third in stolen bases in the league or something like that. So that was a rare feat for the Mets compared to everything they did this year. Maybe one of the few things they got right was stolen bases, right? But no, back to the general managers meeting. Some of those components that I mentioned aforementioned already: rules, meetings, regulations, and possible trades is a big deal as well. There's been times where trades were being conducted right either before the meeting, and then right after the meeting that weekend or that week after, you start seeing these trades happening, and people getting traded all over the place. So hopefully maybe this year that happens, because we so far so bad in the last couple of years, Tony. Trades have been very slow in the last couple of years,
Yeah,
really slow.
a lot of trades on some of them last all the way to springtime, right before
Yeah,
spring training. So
right.
I thought that
It's
was odd the last couple of years,
yeah. So
especially after COVID.
sure, sure. I mean, maybe we could get a little change this year where the owners have become a little more proactive this year.
But like you said in that meeting, a lot of rule changes occurred. Like the pitch
Yeah.
clock, the umpires ruled. Um, Maybe the Otani rule might be revisited because managers are complaining about it, and it's affecting the player. You know that he gets a little extra time to switch up. Who knows how that's gonna happen? But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's not. I don't think it's an issue. You only have one player to worry about, Otani. One player.
yeah,
That's it.
but that one player was in the World Series and now he's a champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
the other
I
teams that yeah.
yeah, I do not see any players coming up in the minors that have the ability that Otani has to pitch and to hit like that. I just don't see it. So you're right. That once in a lifetime talent. We are seeing it with our own eyes right now.
So we have free agency. We at the MLB. We talking about MLB now in general.
Hmm.
We got free agency coming up. Just started. Um, and then we have the managers meeting in December, and then
Hmm.
January, February, and March. What are we looking? What is MLB? What does it look like? Is it just a lot of rest or preparation for spring training or what? What's
No,
going to happen?
yeah, it's so normally at the end of December, normally players start ramping up. They start a lot of players start reporting back to the spring training early. For example, some of the Mets players. And also I would tell you this: some of the Mets players were already in spring training in December, ramping up and exercising and getting in shape. But most of the players by January, right after New Year's, they start ramping up, getting their arms ready, getting exercising. If let's say you are vacationing in New York, you start working your way towards Florida now to go back to your spring training camp in Florida. If you are playing in the Citrus League, then you're going to be going to Arizona. So a lot of players will start heading homesteading to their camps for training, and then ramping up. And again, simultaneously, the teams are not even set up yet, because if you notice in the last few years, free agents are signing late. So you don't know what you have in your team yet until like late March, April. So it's becoming to be a hazard. This free agency being people signing late, and people not making deals, and Scott Boras holding on to the free agents. I mean, look at Alonso. Alonso didn't sign till late, like late, and then you wind up with just one team signing you,
But you be having
and
some
so
players doing some baseball stuff outside of MLB. You get
yeah.
when is the World Baseball Classic?
Well, the World Baseball Classic, so is in March, I believe,
Yeah,
and
so they be
and
doing that shit
so
too.
then, yeah, so then people are ramping up for that. So then everybody's starting to. So the Venezuelan players are going to go to Venezuela, and asking permission to the owners or AA or the team leadership. Hey, I want to play in the World Baseball Classic. I just declared myself. But however, um, that situation is already happening, because some of these players and coaches already have the names of some of the baseball players who already volunteered for that. That's months ahead of time. So yeah, you got the World Baseball Classic. You also have spring training games that start in February. So that's why it's important for these players to start ramping up in January, December, January, because February spring training starts in February. That's it. It starts right away. So we're gonna have listen. This is November, right? We got December, January, in 90 something days, in 100 days, we're gonna have baseball again, Tony. We're gonna be talking about this. And we're gonna have spring training, and baseball will be here before you know it.
Well, the
But
regular season don't start till April, so
yeah, it's April. Yeah, well, the first game, always the customary game, always starts March 31st, and they always pick like the Cubs or the St. Louis or something like that. So yeah, but you're right. April 1st, every time you hit April 1st game, those are the major games of baseball. Baseball's here. So, but no, you're right, Tony. There is some ramp up that happen, and and here's another thing, man. I hope that this free agent market starts with fire. I'm saying let's go. Let's get this going, so that the fans could get excited about their teams and get uplifted, because we've been having some horrible free agencies, waiting to the last minute to sign these guys. And the teams are not even set yet. And then here's another problem: if you sign late March, April, now that player hasn't even had spring training, 2 months of training. Now you gotta put him. You gotta put those players in the minor leagues to train before you bring them up, because they're not ramped up. I
yeah.
mean, look at these pitchers. These pitchers coming in with Tommy John injuries,
I
because they
was
get signed late and they can't ramp up.
I was just about to say that these players coming in with injuries, some of them they got it at the World Baseball Classic, and some of them
Yeah,
just get injured. I don't know, playing pickup ball or something. They come
yeah,
in with injuries
yeah.
at spring training, and then all of a sudden, uh, like Judge did that one year. You know, dude, how you in the off season? All of a sudden you come in and you're already injured. You know, game one of the season and on the injured
Right.
list, you know, what were you doing during spring training, bro? you coming into spring training all injured. But that said, any final thoughts for MLB or Mets or Yankees or anything that's left that we haven't wrapped up? Because this is the end of baseball for 2025. We won't see baseball until 2026.
Yeah, I mean, for you, all you Mets fans out there, I mean, I read the Yankees free agency. The Mets got a big time free agency list, a lot bigger than the Yankees. But the biggest names is Pete Alonso, Edwin Diaz, and a lot of folks out there in Mets land are saying, bring back Alonso, bring back Edwin Diaz. I do agree that the Mets do need to bring back Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz has been a good closer for the Mets for the last 4 or 5 years. We need to sign him back. Alonso, I know you Mets fans are gonna kill me, but I think Alonso, if we could get him at a cheaper price, we get him. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Alonso is like a horrible first baseman. He cannot play first base to save his life, and that can cost us some games. But I will say this: Alonso plays every day. This guy plays 162 games. That's one thing you can count on Alonso. And he's going to hit you 35 to 40 home runs. He's going to drive in 120 RBIs. But you know what? You know what that sounds like to me? He's a DH. Sorry, Mets fans, he's a DH. He's not a first baseman. And the general manager already said that right after the season. The general manager said, and he apologized, and he said, the Mets need to get better defensively. How are we going to do that if we put Alonso at first base?
Yeah, you got JC 17 2003 yelling go Mets. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for sticking with
Yeah,
us through game 7. Appreciate you. And hey, you got a Mets fan watching us right now. Go Mets.
yeah. Shout out to my man JC. So yeah, and yeah, so it's it's one of those things. The Mets just got to get better defensively, but that's all I have. I think both teams have a lot of work to do on the off season to
The
be able to
Yankees more
the
than the
Met.
Mets because the Mets need to get their stuff together to not
Yeah,
not not end up at the last game of the season to win. They need to make sure they're ahead at least a couple of games, man. And it's Philadelphia and dude, the what was it the not the Mariners? Was it the Mariners?
the Mets lost against the Marlins in the
The
last game of the
Marlins. The
season.
Marlins.
Lost
Dude,
against the
you let
Marlins.
the Marlins play spoiler.
It,
Embarrassing.
I mean that. I don't want to even talk about this when they lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins in the last game of the season. You couldn't win one game, guys. One game.
And the Marlins weren't even in playoff contention. So
No, they
anyway,
weren't. They weren't.
we got some work to do in New York baseball. But that said, thank you for the privilege of your time. And
Thank you, sir.
remember to keep your hands up, chin tucked, and eyes open. And protect yourself at all times, baby. Good night, and we'll see you in 2026. Go Dodgers, go Mets, go